Chapter 761 Auctioning Ma and Zhao. The intense bidding had finally ended. In the end, the rank 8 GU Immortal, 5 Elements Grandmaster, used a rank 7 Metal Path and a rank 6 Metal Path Immortal GU, along with countless immortal materials to become the eventual winner. 5 Elements Grandmaster's cultivation included the 5 paths of metal, wood, water, fire, earth. Thus, he had some Metal Path Immortal GU as well. But this time, he was discarding a portion of his prized collection. It was like he was throwing away a meat-filled bun for a less tasty plain bread. Fang Yuan found it regrettable, but he had no way to compete in the bidding. Even if he had GU Immortal captives, in terms of value, they could not compare to this extremely unique Immortal GU. In fact, Reverse Misfortune Immortal GU was very suitable with Spring-Autumn Cicada. The weakness of Spring-Autumn Cicada was that it gave the user bad luck. But after using this Immortal GU, not only could this weakness be solved, the user's luck could even be improved, turning into good luck. Undeniably, the effect of Reverse Misfortune Immortal GU was much more convenient than Connect Luck Immortal GU. Unfortunately, Fang Yuan's financial power was at a completely disadvantage compared to people like 5 Elements Grandmaster and Yao Huang. Fang Yuan had only been an immortal for such a short time. From the point he obtained to Immortal Blessed Land, only 2 years had passed according to the time of the 5 regions. Looking at southern border, the great battles at Yitian Mountain had not even begun yet. Honestly speaking, Fang Yuan was able to become an immortal zombie in such a short time. Developing himself to this point was already very difficult. As for 5 Elements Grandmaster, Yao Huang, and Feng Zhuzhe, they had already accumulated their wealth for countless years. They had hundreds of thousands of immortal essence stones, in addition to precious immortal materials. The amount of resources their immortal aperture worlds created each year could pile up into a mountain. The resources that they provided could even heavily affect the market in Treasure Yellow Heaven. These were all powerhouses, be it their battle strength, financial power, connections, or status. Fang Yuan could not compare with them at this moment. After Reverse Misfortune, it was another rank 7 Immortal GU, called Blessing in Disguise. This GU's ability was quite mystical. It targeted the immortal aperture's calamities and tribulations. After a GU Immortal undergoes tribulation, the Tao marks on their bodies would increase in numbers, causing their cultivation level to progress. This was common knowledge in GU Immortal cultivation. Blessing in Disguise Immortal GU targeted this point. After using it, when a GU Immortal completes a tribulation, the increase in the number of Tao marks on them would be twice that of the original amount. This was a terrifying number. The reward of 1 tribulation would be equal to the amount normal people get from 2 tribulations. But this GU had a flaw. It had to be activated before the calamities and tribulations. It could only stop after the calamities and tribulations had ended. Through the effect of this GU, the calamities and tribulations would have a 30 to 40% increase in strength, based on their original power. This weakness dampened the enthusiasm in the GU Immortals slightly. But they could still not resist the temptation. Up to 40% more power in the tribulation in exchange for twice the amount of Tao marks, the benefit outweighed the cost. For those experts confident in surviving a tribulation, this Immortal GU had much greater attraction to them. A terrifying auction thus unfolded. As a Metal Path GU Immortal, Qin Bai Sheng naturally requested for a rank 7 Metal Path Immortal GU as the base bid. Eventually, Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu had sweat on his forehead as he defeated his competitors, obtaining this GU. The following auction items caused surges in turn. Fortuitous Encounter Immortal GU that could allow opportunities to arrive for the GU Immortal themselves. Immortal GU from the 5 mainstream paths, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, that were helpful to GU Immortals. An Immortal GU that operated in both Luck Path and Wisdom Path. Luck Deduction Immortal GU, it could consume one's own luck to make deductions on dangers or opportunities in the future. Luck Suppression Immortal GU that could suppress the loss of one's own luck from other Immortal GU. These Immortal GU were indeed the essence of the Luck Path true inheritance. Not only were they incredible, they had useful effects that broadened everyone's horizons. But these GU fell into the hands of Yao Huang, Feng Zhuzhe, and the other powerhouses. This was an expected situation. Fang Yuan wanted to interfere, but he did not have any Metal Path Immortal GU. This was a helpless matter. The other rank 6 GU Immortals and most rank 7 GU Immortals were like Fang Yuan, only able to watch these powerhouses compete for Immortal GU. The prices of the auction items created new records. Fang Yuan's records from the 2 Immortal GU he sold were already pushed out of the top 10. The next item is the final, and most important item in this auction. Qin Bai Sheng introduced it as such. His way of speaking immediately attracted the attention of the GU immortals. Just as everyone was guessing to themselves what immortal GU it was, Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun, who were unconscious, appeared on the stage. Qin Baisheng spoke at an appropriate time. Please do not be alarmed, I am sure a lot of GU immortals have guessed it already. That is right, these two are the crucial people who were protected by the luck path true inheritance previously. This girl is called Zhao Lianyun. She was very intelligent since a young age, and had experienced the crucial battle in Imperial Court Blessed Land. Although she was not the true inheritor, she had obtained a lot of benefits inside the luck path true inheritance light lump. She had obtained a portion of the luck path inheritance. As for this young man, he is Ma Hongyun, the one and only recognized inheritor of the luck path true inheritance. Not only did he experience the battle in Imperial Court Blessed Land, he even has had the fortune-rivaling heaven immortal GU used on him. Once he said that, the commotion was like a huge wave. Countless heated gazes were tightly fixed on Ma Hongyun. Did I hear wrongly? It is really fortune-rivaling heaven immortal GU. Fortune-rivaling heaven. This is the trump card GU of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Although it was not recorded in history, there were many rumors that praised this immortal GU endlessly. But this fortune-rivaling heaven immortal GU seems to be a consumable GU, it can only be used once. Since it is the rank 8 fortune-rivaling heaven, could Brother Qin use the rank 6 luck inspection immortal GU to check it? In the main hall, a GU immortal suddenly questioned. Qin Baisheng smiled as he replied, according to the information that I obtained in the true inheritance, unless it is the rank 8 luck inspection immortal GU, one cannot see the true appearance of fortune-rivaling heaven. Luck inspection immortal GU below rank 8 can only see a portion of it. And that is only because the other party did not use any concealment method. Honestly speaking, I have already used the rank 6 luck inspection immortal GU to find out some traces of fortune-rivaling heaven. As for why I am so certain that fortune-rivaling heaven was used on Ma Hongyun, that is because I have searched their souls. If you buy one of them and conduct soul searching, you will be able to see what happened inside Imperial Court Blessed Land. By then, you will know that my words are true. At the same time, these two inherited a huge portion of the luck path true inheritance. During the process of soul searching, you will be able to learn what they had learned in the inheritance. Saying this, Qin Baisheng paused and said in an enticing tone, I have bad news to share with everyone first. The luck path true inheritance is undoubtedly incomplete. The details do not contain the immortal GU recipe of fortune-rivaling heaven immortal GU. But there is good news, in the inheritance details, there is a method to take back fortune-rivaling heaven. It is possible to reverse refine the used fortune-rivaling heaven immortal GU and obtain the original immortal GU. Of course, during the process of refinement, the main material would be this young man, Ma Hongyun. Hearing these words, most of the GU immortals had eyes shining like they were going to burst out in fire, some even gulped, as everyone was filled with anticipation and desire. Qin Baisheng's lips curled, he showed a confident smile. I feel that these two youngsters can best represent the essence of the luck path true inheritance. I will not be setting a base price for them, because they are not immortal GU. You can bid for one of them, or both of them at the same time. We will start now. No base price. I will offer 300 immortal essence stones. One person shouted within the hall of enthusiastic GU immortals. 30,000 immortal essence stones. Feng Juzhe said coldly, multiplying the bid by 100 times. But this price could not stop the enthusiasm of the other experts, it could only deny most of the bottom-tier GU immortals. Yao Huang, the Eastern Sea GU immortal, 5 Elements Grand Master, Old Ancestor Shui Hu, and Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu, they were still bidding, and the representatives of the super forces were not showing weakness either. The price skyrocketed at an extremely fast pace. Fang Yuan sighed to himself. His financial power was like an ant compared to these giants. Unless he put all of his GU immortal captives on the line, he could not contest with them. But Fang Yuan would not do this. He was already on the strength path, and was planning to go into time path. He was not going to develop his luck path attainment. And he was also the main culprit of the Imperial Court Blessed Land incident. He had experienced more of that series of events than Ma and Zhao. He knew most of the inner details. Regarding the information of the luck path true inheritance as well as the reverse refinement of fortune-rivaling heaven immortal GU, they were very tempting indeed. But fortune-rivaling heaven immortal GU was rank 8, Fang Yuan was only rank 6, how could he refine it? His finances would definitely be unable to support it. Furthermore, even if he succeeded, he did not have the ability to keep it. The bidding of Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun lasted for much of the hour. Eventually, Two unthinkable prices stood at the top two spots, at the record highest prices in this auction. The second spot was Feng Juzhe, he had bought Zhao Lianyun. The one who obtained Ma Hongyun was the rank 8 great expert old ancestor Shuihu. The leader of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land, the number one person in the demonic path, had shown his incredible wealth at the end of the auction. Before this, he had always concealed himself, barely buying anything. Towards the end, he dealt a heavy blow and swept his enemies away. Many GU immortals, especially the representatives from the super forces who had the Huangjin bloodline, had no choice but to watch as Ma Hongyun fell into the hands of the demonic path. Yao Huang sighed, he had bought many things already and expended a large amount of wealth. At the final moment, he lost to old ancestor Shuihu. But thankfully, Zhao Lianyun is still in the hands of our Northern Plains righteous path. The GU immortals that had the Huangjin bloodline consoled themselves. What they did not know was, Swordmaster Yulan, who was representing Prince Feng Xian, was an impostor called Feng Juzhe. Speaking of which, this was really ironic. During his life, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had kept the luck path true inheritance as a deep secret, setting up layers of protection and thinking of passing the complete version down to his descendants. In the end, the luck path true inheritance became incomplete and was split up by everyone, circulating into the entire world. The most important inheritors were even held in the hands of people who were not part of the Huangjin bloodline. Chapter 762 Red Fiend Divine Boat. Chapter 762, Red Fiend Divine Boat. The main auction has ended. Next, there will be a 2-hour break for everyone to move around in the auction hall. 2 hours later, we will have the open transaction. After Qin Bai Sheng said that, he left the stage. He was tired, as the host the entire time, especially when he auctioned the essence of the luck path true inheritance, because his own benefits were at stake. He made many schemes during the process. Even though there were many traces and most of the GU immortals present could tell, the profits were too immense, Qin Bai Sheng could not care less. After this auction is over, I will escape and hide from the world. After managing and processing my gains for most of a century, I will roam the world after that. Qin Bai Sheng decided in his head. He was the biggest winner of this auction. The immortal materials he obtained could pile into a mountain. He also obtained many metal path immortal GU that were compatible with him. The saying goes, humans die for wealth and birds die for food. Profits could move the human heart. Even if GU immortals ordinarily appeared to be unconcerned with worldly matters, that was only because mortal materials cannot satisfy their desires. Auctioning the essence of the luck path true inheritance was extremely profitable, it was greatly heated. Even the rank 7 expert, Qin Bai Sheng, had felt uneasy. In the main hall, discussions soon commenced. Many GU immortals came out of the single rooms and mixed into the group, engaging in conversations together. Qin Bai Sheng left a 2-hour break for everyone. He had his own intentions. It was not really a time to rest, but it was for the GU immortals to communicate with each other and interact. From the auction earlier, everyone had gained a certain level of understanding towards each other's resources. Now, to exchange for the things they wanted, they would naturally need to interact first. Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yun Sheng sat in the secret rooms and did not move. Unfamiliar face was a mortal killer move, it had limited effect and the two had to be careful, they could not expose themselves. Fang Yuan felt some regret that he was unable to obtain anything in the luck path true inheritance. Especially Ma and Zhao, the people who knew the truth of the imperial court incident, Fang Yuan wanted to deal with them. But he did not have enough strength. He could only watch and could not interfere, there was nothing he could do. Thankfully, he had not sold the GU immortal captives in his hands yet, there was the open trading later, he could still look forward to that. 2 hours later, Qin Bai Sheng stepped onto the stage again, announcing the start of the open transactions. For the sake of fairness, he did the same thing again, using GU worms to choose a lucky person to enter the stage first. This first GU immortal took out a large amount of an immortal material, broken wave flowers. His request was prosperity soil. Broken wave flowers grew in large rivers, they were magical flowers born during the moments where waves appeared and vanished. Because they had a short lifespan, they were hard to gather. As for prosperity soil, diamond soil, green fist soil, these soils were highly sought after items by GU immortals. GU immortals develop their immortal apertures, they use the resources produced in their immortal apertures to cultivate, the fertility of their soil played a huge role in this. Prosperity soil could grow all sorts of flowers, diamond soil could grow minerals, while green fist soil could accumulate and gather the fertility to prevent it from vanishing. It was suited for immortal apertures with terrain resembling barren lands, like deserts. GU immortals who owned prosperity soil were not few. Immediately, they started speaking, asking how much was needed for the trade. The seller on the stage actually had large numbers of broken wave flowers. After trading for 1,500 kilograms of prosperity soil, he waved his hand and left the stage. The difference between the auction and the open transaction was very obvious. The auction was for valuable items, they had a huge prerequisite for bidders. The open transaction often involved scattered trades, the entry level was low. But this was not universal. After several GU immortals, a GU immortal who did not want to expose themselves showed an immortal GU and asked Qin Bai Sheng to sell it for them. This immortal GU was one that did not get sold earlier, the seller had lowered their requirements greatly. But even so, the request was still an immortal GU. There were a few people who responded, they wanted the price to be lower. The seller refused and eventually, the trade failed and this immortal GU returned to the seller's hands. When it was Fang Yuan's turn, more than 30 rounds had passed. The 37th secret room is selling a GU immortal captive. Qin Bai Sheng said as he displayed the sleeping GU immortal inside the sleeping cloud coffin. Immediately, the auction hall went into a commotion. The slave trade industry was well known by every immortal. But to sell GU immortals like they were slaves, this was an extremely rare event. For many GU immortals, this was the first time they had seen it. At once, GU immortals discussed as their expressions varied. When Qin Bai Sheng announced it again, the scattered conversations in the hall became softer. Someone asked for the details. Qin Bai Sheng introduced. This GU immortal captive might be familiar to some of you, he is Loner Hong Yu, a rank 6 fire path GU immortal. His cultivation is at 1 heavenly tribulation. This is the situation inside his blessed land, you can all take a look. Saying so, the image on the stage changed, reflecting the situation of Loner Hong Yu's immortal aperture. This blessed land is a little barren. Yes, managing his blessed land so poorly, no wonder he was captured alive. Don't forget, the GU immortal who captured him must have already looted his blessed land already. To us fire path GU immortals, isn't it better if this Loner Hong Yu's cultivation is lower? The GU immortals were moved. Fire path GU immortals had great demand for Loner Hong Yu's immortal aperture. Once they swallowed his blessed land, they could skip 1 heavenly tribulation, many earthly calamities, and gain cultivation levels out of nowhere, the foundation of their blessed land would surge by a huge amount. Even if one was not a fire path GU immortal, most of the GU immortals also wanted the blessed land. Even if their paths were different and they could not swallow the blessed land, they could still occupy this ownerless blessed land after killing him, and obtain a good territory to manage. If they managed it well, the blessed land would be like a source of treasures, producing resources endlessly, sustaining the GU immortals' cultivation needs. Just as Qin Bai Sheng had expected, Loner Hong Yu became a sought-after commodity. Fang Yuan listed a broad range of requests. First, he listed a large amount of immortal materials, next was killer moves from Strength Path, Poison Path, Time Path and Wisdom Path. Next was all sorts of GU recipes, the rarer they were the better. After that, he asked for Desolate Beast corpses, Food Path inheritances or clues for them, Wisdom Path inheritances or clues, Time Path inheritances or clues. Finally, he asked for Battle Bone Wheel GU, the recipes for White Bone Chariot, Lifespan GU and others. Eventually, Loner Hong Yu went into 5 Elements Grandmaster's hands. 5 Elements Grandmaster cultivated metal, wood, water, fire, earth, all 5 paths. Loner Hong Yu's immortal aperture was useful to him. After selling Loner Hong Yu, the next person was up. According to the rules of the open transaction, each GU immortal could only sell 1 thing in each round. This was for fairness. Fang Yuan was not anxious, he patiently waited. After some rounds, he had sold more than half of his GU immortal captives. Not only did he finish Langya Land Spirit's checklist, he even had extra. Not only this, Fang Yuan also obtained the corpse of a desolate beast bat. During this period of time, he noticed that he was not the only one selling GU immortal captives. Old ancestor Shuihu and Heavenly Lord Baizu sold them openly. The Eastern CGU immortal sold 3 immortal zombie bodies, causing the displeasure of Yin Lugong and Dragon Commander Yi Cha. But in the end, Yao Huang joyfully bought these 3 immortal zombie bodies. After seeing this, Fang Yuan relaxed a bit. Langya Land Spirit was not the only one capable of capturing GU immortals. No matter how excellent you are, there is always someone more excellent than you. There were more capable people among other GU immortals. During this period of time, Fang Yuan had changed his room continuously, obscuring his traces and preventing others from finding out that he was the person who was selling most of the GU Immortal captives. Gradually, more and more GU Immortals stopped trading, they chose to watch on the sidelines. They had basically accomplished their respective goals. The remaining GU Immortals, even though they were few in number, the goods they were selling were getting more precious and valuable. By the 9th round, GU Immortals were starting to leave. Just as Fang Yuan thought that the last of his GU Immortal captives would be sold routinely, Qin Baisheng's expression changed, as he received a major request from a lone cultivator. He raised his voice as he said, "Next, we will be selling the complete GU recipe of the Immortal GU House, Red Fiend Divine Boat, as well as the method to use it. The seller is requesting for anything that can assist them in cultivating wood path." What? Red Fiend Divine Boat? They are selling this Immortal GU House. Why are they selling it now? The auction is nearing its end. Haha, the people who left earlier must be dying of regret. In 2 single rooms, Yin Lugong and Dragon Commander Yi Cha had very ugly expressions. Zombie Alliance was trying to eliminate the GU Immortal who was selling the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe, but this lone cultivator was very good at hiding, they could not find a chance to strike. At the auction, Zombie Alliance could not make a move on him, they could only urge him and offer a high price. But this lone cultivator was swayed by the atmosphere of the auction, he became greedy and demanded even higher prices, extorting and threatening Zombie Alliance. Finally, just earlier, their discussions had ended in failure, with the lone cultivator immediately putting up the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe for sale. "I will pay 6,000 Immortal Essence Stones and 1,500 kilograms of red refinement metal to buy it all. Immortal Farmer Soil. I have 4,000 kilograms of Immortal Farmer Soil, I will use it all to exchange for the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe." You bunch of fools, didn't you hear Brother Chin's words? The seller wants wood path resources, I have jade fallen grass here. So what if it is jade fallen grass, I have instinct roots. At once, everyone's moods were riled up, as the representatives of the super forces and the rank 8 grade experts joined in. The 2 leaders of Zombie Alliance were furious, but they had to join in the competition. At once, the calm open transaction had turned into a battlefield, like they were back in the auction rounds. The allure of the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe was obvious from this. "I am willing to pay with a Woodpath Immortal GU, in exchange for the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe." Soon, the representative of a super force, Meng tribe, shouted. "My Yuan tribe also has a Woodpath Immortal GU, we will also add in 300 true martial carps." Yuan Rang Zun shouted, the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe was too alluring, he even used his precious true martial carps as part of the bid. "If you let my Zombie Alliance purchase this, I, Yin Lu Gong, will vow this on my reputation, I will definitely resell this recipe." Yin Lu Gong said coldly. "I, Yao Huang, can attest for that." Soon after, Yao Huang spoke, adding weight to these words. "HMPH, I have a Wisdom Path Immortal GU, Unravel Mystery, it can deduce all traces of any inheritance. I will add in 3 vats of Lingzi liquid." Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu shouted. At once, shouting could be heard everywhere, it was a chaotic scene. Fang Yuan's heart was moved, his eyes burst with brilliant light. If he did not hear wrongly, that was the Unravel Mystery Immortal GU, correct? Chapter 763 3 parties mutually win. Chapter 763 3 parties mutually win. Unravel Mystery Immortal GU. Unravel Mystery Immortal GU, Fang Yuan muttered, his finger was tapping on the handle of his seat as it made soft noises. Bidding could be heard all over the auction hall. At the end of the auction, such a huge treasure like the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe appeared, this was an unexpected surprise. Ordinary lone cultivators did not need to consider it, only the rank 7 GU Immortals in super forces or rank 8 grade experts could have any chance in competing for it. Especially the super forces, the allure of the Immortal GU house was extremely great for the super forces. The price rose at an absurd speed, climbing rapidly. Even though this was the open transaction, everyone was fighting for the good, they subconsciously returned to the auction format that was used previously. Qin Baisheng laughed bitterly. The regulations were set by him, but seeing these experts screaming their lungs out, he chose to watch on the sidelines. At this point, talking about regulations would just offend all of these powerhouses. Do you see, this is the attraction of the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe, your Zombie Alliance was simply too stingy. The seller acted arrogantly upon seeing this, sending a message to the 2 leaders of Zombie Alliance. Dragon Commander Yi Cha's face darkened. Yin Lu Gong was sighing helplessly. Looking at this price, it was already higher than what the Zombie Alliance was planning to pay. And this was not the end, the price was still climbing. Yin Lu Gong was a sensible person. He knew that at this point, the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe could not belong to Zombie Alliance. When leader returns, who knew would she criticize him for being so incapable in handling this matter? As Fang Yuan listened to the bids, he assessed quietly in his mind. I have 4 GU Immortal captives left. One of them is Wu Hao, known as Rushing Thunder Hand. He is the only rank 7 captive I have. There are 3 others, they are the 3 Wahai Immortals, they cultivate Wood Path. Evidently, there was little chance of success if he wanted to use these 4 GU Immortal captives to trade for Heavenly Lord Baizu's Unravel Mystery Immortal GU. Heavenly Lord Baizu was an enslavement path GU Immortal. With a different path, the allure of these 4 GU Immortal captives was greatly lowered. The other point was, Immortal GU were unique, and Unravel Mystery Immortal GU was very useful. If not for the attraction of the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe, Heavenly Lord Baizu would not have exposed such a good GU. If I try to trade it directly, it would not work. The Strength Path Immortal GU that I just obtained have no use to Heavenly Lord Baizu. If I use Calamity Beckoning Immortal GU, I will be exchanging a rank 7 for a rank 6, that exchange would be at a loss. As for Fixed Immortal Travel and Connect Luck, they are indispensable to me, I cannot trade them away. But Fang Yuan did not want to give up on Unravel Mystery Immortal GU. If he missed this chance, if he missed this situation, even if he had the resources in the future, it would be hard to trade for it. Unravel Mystery Immortal GU was not a necessity to Fang Yuan. But in his memories, he had to wait to use this GU as the core. In combination with other rare supplementary GU worms, he could conjure a Dream Path Killer move. A Dream Path Immortal Killer move. At this time, the prophecy of the 3 Venerables had spread throughout the 5 regions. Because of Great Dream Immortal Venerable, almost all of the super forces and rank 8 powerhouses were researching Dream Path. Although their research results were shallow, dream realms were already starting to manifest. There were already 2 Dream Path Immortal GU he knew of in this life. One was in Feng Jin Huang's hands, the other was in Lady Poison Scorpion's possession. To speak of it, the latter was more problematic. Feng Jin Huang was still immortal lass, but Lady Poison Scorpion was in her blessed land, slumbering as she explored a dream realm. Everyone knew that Dream Path was the trend of the future. Thus, they treasured anything relating to this path greatly. Many Dream Path mortal GU that they refined were not shown to the world, they were the greatest mysteries of each force. Those who were able to become GU immortals were dragons among men, they had good foresight and were very shrewd individuals. Even in an auction of such scale, there had been no Dream Path related treasures sold. Fang Yuan knew about the GU recipes of many Dream Path mortal GU. But mortal GU were not helpful towards the exploration of dream realms. Otherwise, the major forces would have started exploring dream realms en masse already. The truly useful ones were Dream Path Immortal GU. But the amazing thing was, be it the 2 that appeared now, or the Dream Path Immortal GU that appeared in the future according to Fang Yuan's memories, they were all in the hands of women. Perhaps this was explained by the prophecy of 3 Venerables, stating 2 male Venerables and 1 female Venerable. With this, one could deduce that Great Dream Immortal Venerable would be a female Immortal Venerable. Within a short time, Fang Yuan would not be able to obtain a Dream Path Immortal GU. But if he had a Dream Path Immortal Killer move, then that could substitute for the effect of a Dream Path Immortal GU. GU are the essence of heaven and earth, man is the spirit of all living beings. One could say, the use of GU depended on the user. There was no strongest GU worm, only a strongest GU master. Genius GU masters could often match different GU worms together, unleashing a greater effect from that. For example, Fang Yuan did not have a Strength Path Immortal GU previously, but he used the Soul Path Cleanse Soul Immortal GU, combined with other mortal GU, to form the Immortal Killer move Myriad Self, creating a starting point of the path formed from the convergence of enslavement and strength. This Dream Path Immortal Killer move was the same case. The core Immortal GU was of Wisdom Path, Unravel Mystery, but it was a Dream Path Killer move. If I can obtain this GU, I will be able to collect Dream Realm GU materials and refine the various mortal GU. Even though it would spend some time, but once I succeed in forming my killer move, the rewards will be immensely more profitable. I will be able to make up for the regret during my previous life, becoming a pioneer in the exploration of dream realms, being ahead of all the forces in this world, being ahead of the superpowers. Fang Yuan's mouth turned dry as he thought about it. He estimated, the potential value coming from this dream path killer move was in no way lower than Wisdom GU. It was only beneath what had come from Spring Autumn Cicada and Immortal Blessed Land, but higher than All Out Effort GU. Among the countless opportunities in Fang Yuan's previous life, the most valuable one was Spring Autumn Cicada. Even though it was rank 6, far inferior to Wisdom Gu's rank 9, it could allow Fang Yuan to be reborn and start again. Even if there was a chance of failure, didn't he succeed every time until now? If he failed the first time, it would have been the worst opportunity he ever had. But it had succeeded, it was deserving of being his greatest fortune. Next was Immortal Blessed Land. It had allowed Fang Yuan to have the foundation of a GU Immortal despite being immortal, standing on the shoulder of a former GU Immortal. After becoming an immortal zombie, it made up for his weakness in his aspect. It was because of this blessed land that Fang Yuan had ample foundation. The cultivation of GU Immortals was not just about fighting and killing, economic management was the biggest foundation base. Third was Wisdom GU. Using the light of wisdom, Fang Yuan gained unlimited inspiration, it rapidly pulled him out of his slump. But that was built on the blessed land and his own foundation. In the future, if he truly controlled it, it might bring Fang Yuan a pleasant surprise. But for now, it was third. The fourth was All Out Effort GU. Even though this mortal GU was only rank 4, he obtained it at a very crucial moment. It was the first springboard since Fang Yuan's rebirth. Without All Out Effort GU, Fang Yuan would not have had such incredible battle strength. Without his battle strength, he would not have been able to participate in the Three Kings' inheritance. As for the Dream Path Killer move, if he obtained it, Fang Yuan would be able to use it well and the value would be equal to the current use of Wisdom GU. After this time period, the value of Dream Path Killer moves would fall drastically. When Dream Realms undergo complete external manifestation, and Dream Path would be thriving all over, this killer move's value would fall beyond belief. The value of opportunities depended on the timing. Spring Autumn Cicada was very valuable, but if Fang Yuan became a demon venerable and was invincible in the world, why would he need it? This was also the case for Immortal Blessed Land. If Fang Yuan obtained it after becoming a GU Immortal and had his own healthy blessed land, the value he received from it would be far lower. The same logic applied to Wisdom GU, All Out Effort GU, and this Dream Path Killer move. But I definitely need the core Immortal GU, Unravel Mystery, to use this Dream Path Killer move, otherwise, all of this is empty talk. Fang Yuan looked at the auction again. At this moment, there were few competitors left. Feng Juzhe and old ancestor Shui who were out of the competition. These two had spent a great amount to buy Ma and Zhao, their foundations were shaken and they no longer were able to compete. Yao Huang had backed out regrettably as well. He had purchased some Refinement Path Immortal GU, as well as many GU Immortal captives. With the huge resource consumption of Refinement Path, all sorts of restrictions forced him to back out. 5 Elements Grandmaster had stopped long ago, he had bought many Immortal GU of the mainstream paths, and he was also a lone cultivator. The last ones remaining were Heavenly Lord Baizu, the Eastern Sea rank 8 GU Immortal, and 3 super forces, they were Yuan Tribe, Murong Tribe, and Chanyu Tribe. Soon, Chanyu Tribe left the competition as well. Even though Yuan Tribe's Yuan Rang Zun was screaming that he wanted to sell all of the true martial carps away, he could not make up his mind. After all, Yuan Tribe already had their own Immortal GU house. Thus, only Murong Tribe, the Eastern Sea GU Immortal, and Heavenly Lord Baizu were left. Murong Jin Shao, my force has no Immortal GU house to defend it, this is very dangerous. If you can let go today, I will definitely compensate you well. In the secret room, the Eastern Sea GU Immortal urged. Murong Jin Shao shook his head, paying respects as he smiled. Lord, my Murong Tribe's Immortal GU house is lacking a core Immortal GU, everyone in Northern Plains know that. This matter involves huge benefits for my tribe, please forgive me for my insolence, I want to fight for it, whether it ends in success or failure, I do not want to be resigned. The Eastern Sea GU Immortal sighed faintly, he no longer said anything apart from raising the bid. It seems that I still have some hope. The price was already at 2 Immortal GU, it had far exceeded the value of 4 GU Immortal captives, but Fang Yuan's gaze was becoming more excited. Even though the Red Fiend Divine Boat is good, no core Immortal GU are being sold. The Immortal GU that the 3 of them are offering are rank 6, they have little use. 2 Immortal GU are the limit, those 3 are already thinking hard, their bids are increasing very slowly. After all, even if they obtained this Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe, it only involves the entirety of the Immortal GU recipes, they still needed to spend a huge sum refining the GU. The seller is a woodpath cultivator, he wants resources useful to his cultivation. Among these 6 immortal GU, only one is woodpath, it comes from Morong tribe, but it is an investigative immortal GU. Hehe, this is great. Forget about the last GU immortal, Rushing Thunder Hand Wu Hao, that I still have, but the 3 Wahai immortals are woodpath GU immortals, I can make good use of this situation in a plan. Fang Yuan moved quickly, he immediately informed Qin Baisheng and contacted Heavenly Lord Baizu. The 3 parties are in a stalemate now, I do not have a woodpath immortal GU, and Morong tribe has the greatest chance now, maybe I can use this to break the stalemate. Heavenly Lord Baizu was moved, he changed his bid, he first took down Unravel Mystery Immortal GU and put up the 3 Wahai Immortals. The seller's eyes brightened, he hesitated for a bit before choosing Heavenly Lord Baizu. He was an astute person. To him, even though the other 2 sides had an additional Immortal GU, only one of them had a woodpath Immortal GU. But in Heavenly Lord Baizu's bid, there was a movement Immortal GU and 3 woodpath Immortal apertures, he could swallow them and gain a huge boost in cultivation level. He sold the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe, he had already offended Zombie Alliance, his current concerns were to protect his life and develop in secret. What suited himself had the greatest value. Heavenly Lord Baizu did not have any interest in the 3 Wahai Immortals, but the seller needed them urgently. As for Heavenly Lord Baizu, he did not make any losses, he still paid a price of 2 Immortal GU. Since he had already decided to give up Unravel Mystery Immortal GU, did it matter who it ended up with? Selling it to Fang Yuan, he broke the stalemate and obtained the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe. As for Fang Yuan, he finally obtained Unravel Mystery Immortal GU. This is a mutual win for 3 parties. Ha ha ha, he laughed heartily. Chapter 764 Actions of All Parties. Chapter 764, Actions of All Parties. Heavenly Lord Baizu became the final winner of the intense bidding war, obtaining the complete recipe for Red Fiend Divine Boat. And the beneficiary of the backdoor deal, Fang Yuan, also successfully obtained Unravel Mystery Immortal GU. Fang Yuan was very satisfied with this transaction. Heavenly Lord Baizu became the focal point of everyone's attention, and apart from a few related people, no one knew Unravel Mystery Immortal GU had landed in Fang Yuan's hands. Red Fiend Divine Boat's recipe could be considered as an unexpected final climactic moment of the auction. Time passed. 4 hours later, this auction, which included various outstanding people, finally ended. There is still no reply from Fairy Li Shan's end. Fang Yuan secretly asked Tai Bai Yunsheng. Tai Bai Yunsheng quickly sent his message. Nothing until now. Fairy Li Shan actually missed such a grand event, it seems there is definitely some issue on her end. Do we return through the previous route? Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng came to Qin Baisheng's blessed land through the whole earth GU established between Qin Baisheng and Fairy Li Shan. Now, the situation on Fairy Li Shan's end was unclear, and rashly using whole earth GU to return was undoubtedly an unwise move. No, we will first leave along with the others, then use fixed immortal travel. We need to be careful, though, there will definitely be turmoil soon. Fang Yuan reminded. Tai Bai Yunsheng nodded with a serious expression. The auction might have ended, but there were sure to be many who were not satisfied with the results. With the end of the auction, the previous agreement signed by all parties would expire. Without the restriction, people's hearts and minds would be moved by wealth, robbery, extortion and ambushes would be the next event. Most of the GU immortals had the same thoughts as Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng. Thus, they left the blessed land in a hurry and full of caution. We must get that guy. He actually dared to sell the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe openly, our Zombie Alliance's face had been lost completely. We could let go if it was only our face, but the key thing is that the leader had repeatedly reminded us of the importance of this task before she left. But now, we have screwed up. When the leader comes back and hears the news, who knows how she will punish us. Yin Lugong and Dragon Commander Yi Cha discussed as they looked at their target hurriedly leaving. In the sky above Crimson Reed Marsh. Heavenly Lord, I wonder if you are interested in selling the Red Fiend Divine Boat recipe to my Yao tribe. Yao Huang stayed behind and persuaded Heavenly Lord Baizu. Heavenly Lord Baizu chuckled. Lord Yao Huang is jesting, how can such a treasure be sold easily? I won't conceal it from you, I have a lot of descendants and they are filling up my grotto heaven. Recently, I have been planning to establish a tribe, perhaps we can have many opportunities to collaborate with Yao tribe. The leaders of various forces in the surroundings had changes in their expressions as they heard this. Heavenly Lord Baizu was a rank 8 powerhouse. A tribe he established, with his support, was certain to thrive. Not only this, with the support of a rank 8 GU Immortal, even if the new tribe's foundation was lacking, it would still be a super force. Northern Plains was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's homeland, the place where he rose up and established a hereditary monarchy. For a long time up to now, the super forces in Northern Plains were almost all of Huangjin bloodline. Heavenly Lord Baizu was trying to poke his nose into this by establishing a super force, which no doubt was going to create an enormous impact on those Huangjin descendants. At the same time, with the lone cultivator, Heavenly Lord Baizu, becoming the first supreme elder of a righteous path force, it would have huge impacts on both the demonic path and lone cultivator camps. Yao Huang's smile became even brighter. Since Heavenly Lord has such an intention, who could stop you in this huge world? It is very difficult for us old fellows to gather together, no time is better than the present, how about we have a chat today? Haha, this is also what I wanted to say. Heavenly Lord Baizu laughed heartily. Yao Huang opened up his Immortal GU house, Medicine Cottage, and invited all the GU Immortals present to join. Most of the super forces entered in the end, including 5 Elements Grandmaster, who represented the benefits of lone cultivators. However, Old Ancestor Shui Hu refused. In this auction, Old Ancestor Shui Hu had invested a lot to buy Ma Hongyun, as well as precious contents of the essence of the Luck Path True Inheritance. What he most wanted to do now was to use Ma Hongyun as the primary material in refining fortune rivaling heaven and use its effects on himself. The person representing Prince Feng Xian's will, Feng Juzhe, who had disguised himself as Swordmaster Yulan, also refused this gathering and left on his own. In a hidden area among the reeds, he quietly met with the Central Continent GU Immortals. I have sent you the message regarding the auction. Feng Juzhe looked at everyone with a smile. Lord Juzhe made a really good move, such courage, I am in admiration. With Zhao Lianyun, we can search her soul and find many precious clues regarding the main culprit of the Imperial Court incident. I still have to thank Lord for trading a suitable Immortal GU for me. What should our actions be next? The Central Continent GU Immortals talked one after the other, clearly treating Feng Juzhe as their leader. Feng Juzhe smiled. In this trip, he first used his tyrannical strength to subdue everyone, and now he had taken the risk to enter the Tiger's Den and trade Immortal GU for them. Through Feng Juzhe's methods and charisma, a stick in one hand and a carrot in the other, he was finally able to lead this group of experts. Of course, Feng Juzhe knew that behind this harmonious atmosphere, everyone still had their own thoughts. It was only that all the experts were astute. Now that they were in Northern Plains with a heavy mission on their shoulders, even if they had any hidden thoughts, they suppressed it deep within themselves for the time being, choosing to sincerely cooperate. To Feng Juzhe, this was enough. Everyone, although we obtained Zhao Lianyun, the clues available to verify the true culprit are probably not enough. If there were enough clues, Northern Plains GU Immortals would have already discovered the truth and the perpetrator would have nowhere to hide. However, I found someone who was suspicious. Feng Juzhe said. Everyone's spirits rose at hearing this information. Feng Juzhe continued. But this person has hidden themselves too deeply, I never was able to find out their true identity. To find this person, we must start from the host of this auction. Lord is talking about Qin Bai Sheng. He is a famous expert of Northern Plains, a rank 7 Metal Path GU Immortal. I also know of this person, he is a lone cultivator. Creating such an achievement today with just his own strength is truly rarely seen. Qin Bai Sheng not only has outstanding strength, he also has many favorable social connections. If we are going against him, we need to use all our strength to strike as quickly as possible. If we let him escape and ask for assistance from his allies, the situation will turn for the worse. Everyone was discussing vigorously. They were the representatives of the 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent, powerful and with lot of methods, but they were fighting in enemy territory. Once their identities were exposed, it was likely that Northern Plains GU Immortals would band together to attack them. Fortunately, they still had Prince Feng Xian to aid them secretly. In another area, a fight had already started. He Langzi, you really have guts, you actually dared to attack our Chanyu tribe. The GU Immortal who was ambushed shouted in fury. HMPH, what is there to not dare? So what if you are from Chanyu tribe? No matter how powerful the Immortal Killer Move Winged Blade is, can it save you now? Just be obedient and hand over that sandalwood sacred elephant egg, and I shall let you go. A giant wolf, the size of a small hill, spoke with an eerie gaze, in a human voice. This egg came from the mysterious rank 8 GU Immortal of Eastern Sea. It had fallen into the hands of Chanyu tribe's representative at a certain point of the auction. He Langzi had left previously, but actually had other intentions. He carefully set up an ambush outside and waited for someone to fall into it, capturing this unlucky fellow. He Langzi, you have hidden your cards well. You actually have an informant in the auction. Didn't you call yourself a lone wolf, moving alone and disdaining interaction with other GU immortals? HMPH, if you have the guts, then place a stake against me in battle. If you win, I will immediately hand over this sandalwood sacred elephant egg to you. If you lose, then join our Chanyu tribe and serve for 100 years. The Chanyu tribe GU immortal shouted. He had just spoken, when he heard the sound of a woman's laugh coming from nearby. A black light flashed, and 3 GU immortals appeared. The Chanyu tribe GU immortal was startled. The other party had approached this closely, but he did not notice in the slightest until they intentionally revealed themselves. You are He Chang. The Chanyu tribe GU immortal carefully observed and quickly recognized their identities, also Fairy Zhongyu, Why is Shui Songzi of the demonic path with you? Chanyu Zhong'er, I know you have the immortal killer move, Immemorial Flame Axe. But thinking of using this move to battle He Langzi and recruit a rank 7 as a goon for your tribe is too naive. Fairy Zhongyu continued to smile. Chanyu Zhong'er's expression sank, as the other party had spoken accurately. It was because of this immortal killer move, Immemorial Flame Axe, that he had the confidence to participate in this auction as Chanyu tribe's representative. But who could have thought that he had still greatly underestimated human desire, and also overestimated Chanyu tribe's stature? He Chang, you are a He tribe GU immortal and are of Huangjin bloodline, like my Chanyu tribe. But you are actually colluding with demonic path outsiders to harm us righteous path GU immortals. Don't make such a huge mistake, it is still not too late to turn back. Chanyu Zhong'er thought rapidly and tried to persuade He Chang. Shui Songzi laughed loudly. If it was your big brother here, Chanyu Shangyi, we would have a headache. If it was your younger brother, Chanyu Sha-san, we would have dispelled any intention of ambush. Unfortunately, you don't have the defensive prowess of your big brother, neither do you have the speed of your younger brother, today your defeat is certain. Chanyu Zhong'er's expression became more unsightly, he stared fixedly at He Chang and shouted, He Chang, you are a righteous path GU immortal, you built your reputation over so many years, do you not want it? If this matter were to be exposed or just a rumor of it is spread, you will be condemned by the public and hunted down like a rat. He Chang's eyes flickered with hesitation, but Fairy Zhongyu transmitted him a message, making him firmly resolute. Without saying anything, he waved an arm, from which a dark arrow flew out, straight towards Chanyu Zhong'er. He used action to show his resolution. Snowy mountain blessed land, 3rd branch peak, jade green light shined and extinguished, Tai Bai Yunsheng appeared in the room. At almost the same instant which he appeared, he activated his defensive killer move, 9 Cloud Ring. One of the disadvantages of fixed immortal travel was that other GU worms could not be used during the process. Another disadvantage was that the amount of immortal essence consumed would depend on the strength of the target. Previously, Fang Yuan was still immortal with few Dao marks on his body, thus the immortal essence consumed was much lower. However, when transporting a GU immortal, the minimum consumption was at least 1 bead of green grape immortal essence. After finding no dangers, Fang Yuan came out of Tai Bai Yunsheng's immortal aperture. This room was the place where Fairy Li Shan and He Lulan had met with them previously. There has been no response from either Fairy Li Shan or He Lulan. In accordance with the alliance, we must look into this. The most probable place is here. Shortly, the two found Fairy Li Shan and He Lulan in a bedroom. They are lying on the bed sleeping. Tai Bai Yunsheng was dazed. He was about to walk closer but was stopped by Fang Yuan. Don't approach them, it is dangerous. What danger? Fang Yuan's eyes let out a sharp light. They are in a dream realm. If we approach them, we will also be ensnared. Chapter 765 Qin Bai Sheng vs Feng Juzhe. Chapter 765, Qin Bai Sheng vs Feng Juzhe. Dream realm. Tai Bai Yunsheng heard Fang Yuan's words and his gaze flickered, he showed a grim expression. Earlier, when Fang Yuan and He Lulan collaborated to explore Starry Sky Grotto Heaven, he had met with danger in a dream realm of star constellation Immortal Venerable. Fang Yuan had explained this matter briefly to Tai Bai Yunsheng. Thus, when Tai Bai Yunsheng heard the term dream realm, he knew the severity of the situation. He sighed. No wonder Fairy Li Shan and He Lulan did not attend the auction, they were trapped in a dream realm. I had been guessing earlier if He Lulan's tribulation was causing them trouble. Fang Yuan nodded. Old Bai, you guessed correctly. Most likely, the tribulation caused them to be stuck in a dream realm, unable to free themselves. When GU immortals undergo tribulation, there can be dream realm calamities. Tai Bai Yunsheng asked in suspicion. Fang Yuan sighed. Not in the past, but now that dream realms have manifested, such calamities and tribulations have appeared gradually. Especially in the 500 years of his previous life, towards the second half of the Five Regions' chaotic war, dream realms manifested on a large scale, showing up in all corners of the Five Regions. The phenomenon of dream realms becoming tribulations also became more frequent. Countless GU immortals were harmed in the process. What do we do now? According to the Snowy Mountain Alliance, we cannot abandon them. Tai Bai Yunsheng was helpless. He asked Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was silent, his eyes were shining with a murky light. At this moment, He Lu Lan and Fairy Li Shan had little to no defenses. It was not hard to kill them now. But because of the alliance agreement, Fang Yuan could not attack them, he even had to save them. The Snowy Mountain Alliance was made using Mountain Pledge GU. If I want to break it, I will need to destroy Snowy Mountain. Unfortunately, I do not have enough strength now. It will be hard to do so. Even if I could destroy it, Tai Bai Yunsheng is too kind. He might be an obstacle if I try to attack them. Fang Yuan felt some regret. This indeed was a golden opportunity. By killing He Lu Lan, he would obtain Strength Chi Immortal GU, Self-Strength Immortal GU, Flying Bear Strength GU, and Slavery Immortal GU. The first three were Strength Path Immortal GU, while the last one was Enslavement Path. They all suited Fang Yuan very well. Especially Self-Strength Immortal GU, if he obtained it, he could use it as the core and elevate the power of the Immortal Killer move Myriad Self by several levels. As for Fairy Li Shan's Mountain Pledge GU, with it, Fang Yuan would have the same advantage as Fairy Li Shan. Helping other GU immortals make agreements, this was an extremely popular service. The benefits could surpass the Guts GU trade. That was because using Mountain Pledge GU to make agreements for others not only was highly profitable, he could also establish connections. Fairy Li Shan was able to mingle in both the righteous and demonic paths. A lot of that was due to this immortal GU. Mountain Pledge GU was not an attack-type immortal GU, it could not provide defense or movement abilities to the GU immortal. But whoever held it will gain a huge advantage. It was only an assistance-type immortal GU, but GU immortals were not only concerned about fighting and killing. GU immortals placed emphasis cultivation, management were their biggest priority. Realistically, fighting was just a small portion of a GU immortal's life. Only with the Five Regions' chaotic war would fighting become the general focus. Just as Fang Yuan was pondering, Snowy Mountain Blessed Land shook. A rank 8 GU immortal's immense aura emanated and filled the surroundings. We welcome Old Ancestor's arrival. Soon, several demonic path GU immortals spoke from their respective mountain peaks. It is Old Ancestor Shuihu. He has his own grotto heaven, he almost never comes here, why is he here now? Tai Bai Yunsheng's expression changed. The moment he said that, he heard Old Ancestor Shuihu's voice, resonating through the blessed land. All of you, come to the main hall and see me now, I have an important matter to discuss with everyone. As you command, Old Ancestor. The demonic path GU immortals shouted in unison. Figures of GU immortals rapidly flew out from the mountain peaks. Tai Bai Yunsheng's expression paled. He said, oh no, Fairy Li Shan is still in a dream. If she does not appear or say anything, Old Ancestor Shuihu will definitely get suspicious and come here to check. We can escape with fixed immortal travel, and Fairy Li Shan would not be attacked. But He Lu Lan is the problem. She is not a member of Snowy Mountain and is a key character who has experienced the Truyong building incident. Once she is captured and has her soul searched, we are all doomed. Bam bam bam. While an intense explosion sounded out, a pathetic figure was fleeing rapidly. Behind him, there was a huge wolf sprinting out of the smoke, opening its bloodthirsty mouth and speaking a human language. Chanyu Zhang, where are you trying to escape to? The pathetic figure was Chanyu Zhang. He continued to escape as he yelled with a panicked expression. He Lang Zi, hey Chang, don't go too far, otherwise, I will drag you guys down with me. Immemorial Flame Axe. His body shuddered, put his palms together as he turned around, exerting a chopping motion with them. Immediately, fire rose as they gathered to form an axe in midair, attacking the huge wolf. Before the attack even landed, the scorching flames already burned some of the wolf's fur. The huge fiery axe caused the surrounding sky to glow red. It was powerful and carried an aura of destruction with it, as if it could rampage to kill innumerable beings. This was an immortal killer move, it had incredible offensive power. But facing such a powerful attack, He Lang Zi's gaze shined with disdain and mockery. Swoosh! The huge wolf vanished, evading the immemorial flame axe and blocking Chanyu Zhong'er's escape route. No matter how fierce the attack, what good is it if you cannot hit? Fairy Zhongyu appeared, floating in the air. She had taken action just now, teleporting He Langzi away using an immortal movement killer move. Damn! Chanyu Zhong'er gritted his teeth, his heart sank as his angry and helpless face showed a hint of despair. You are distracted. Suddenly, a black-robed Gu Immortal appeared behind him. Chanyu Zhong'er was shocked, quickly retreating as he created some distance. The mysterious Gu Immortal remained on the spot, stretching out his right arm while his palm was aimed at Chanyu Zhong'er. This distance is enough, now, have a taste of my soul suction immortal goose power. Chanyu Zhong'er's movements froze, his body turned stiff as his soul shook, it was like there was a huge force trying to pull his soul out of his body. Oh no, Chanyu Zhong'er was shocked, ordinary defensive measures could not defend against such soul path methods. He tried to stabilize his soul, momentarily going into a deadlock with the mysterious black-robed Gu Immortal. Quickly assist me, the black-robed Gu Immortal said. The moment he said that, He Cheng and Shui Songzi flew towards him, placing their arms on his shoulders. By surreptitiously using some Gu worms, all three of their souls worked together and formed an even greater force. Soul suction immortal Gu was used in this way, it was like drawing in a river, disregarding all other aspects, it was a direct contest between souls. At this moment, the black-robed Gu Immortal, He Cheng, Shui Songzi collaborated, they had a huge advantage against Chanyu Zhong'er. I am unresigned, I am full of hatred, let me go. Chanyu Zhong'er was unable to resist them, his soul was pulled out eventually. Without his soul to control it, his body fell downwards from the air rapidly, like a puppet with its strings cut. But soon after, Fairy Zhongyu caught it. She searched it and laughed. As expected, this fire path immortal Gu is in Chanyu Zhong'er's blessed land. So your real motive was my fire path immortal Gu. What do you guys actually want? Chanyu Zhong'er's soul was held by the black-robed Gu Immortal, he continued to shout furiously. No, we did not lie to you. The sandalwood sacred elephant egg was also our target. But compared to the immortal Gu, it is like the icing on the cake. Fairy Zhongyu smiled. Their scheme had succeeded, her mood was great, but just as she was about to continue speaking, her expression changed. Not only her, at the same time, even the black-robed Gu Immortal's hands shook. He was wearing a black robe, his head was covered by a huge hood, his face was shrouded in darkness, he said with a hoarse voice, Qin Bai Sheng was ambushed, HMPH. So this Swordmaster Yulan is an imposter, a Gu Immortal from Central Continent. Qin Bai Sheng cannot be lost, quickly go and save him. Fairy Zhongyu said anxiously, soaring away without any hesitation or pause. The black-robed Gu Immortal and He Langzi followed suit. Only He Cheng and Shui Songzi were left. Lord He Cheng, do we follow? Shui Songzi was hesitant. He Cheng looked at the black-robed Gu Immortal and felt a lot of wariness. Not long ago, this person had appeared, showcasing many different methods, he had great power and had an extraordinary relation to Fairy Zhongyu. Shui Songzi was hesitant, but was he, He Cheng, any different? It seems that this black-robed Gu Immortal is also a member of Shadow Sect. He Langzi might be the same as us, being a collaborator. Shadow Sect, and Central Continent's Gu Immortals, He Cheng's gaze flickered, his body flew up in pursuit of Fairy Zhongyu and the others. Shui Songzi snorted coldly, he quickly followed them. Huff huff huff, Qin Bai Sheng breathed roughly, there were dozens of wounds on him, some were bleeding, some were so deep one could see bones, some of his skin had turned black, emitting a foul odor. As expected of a famous expert of Northern Plains, we attacked together and ambushed you, but you still managed to heavily injure three of us. Feng Zhuzhe crossed his arms as he watched, praising with a gaze of admiration. Northern Plains Gu Immortals truly have excellent battle strength. Your methods and ours seem to have little discrepancy, yet you managed to make such great battle results. Qin Bai Sheng, you are an outstanding person, give up and surrender. Our words earlier were truthful. As long as you tell us some people's identities, we will let you leave. There were Central Continent Gu Immortals all around Qin Bai Sheng. They opened their mouths as they urged him. Among them, Fairy Ling Mei and Fairy Ao Shui of Heaven's Envy Manor, as well as a young-looking Gu Immortal, old oracle from Ancient Soul Sect, were quite heavily injured. You want me to surrender? Qin Bai Sheng raised his eyebrows, spitting out a mouthful of bloody saliva. Bah! Outsiders from another region infiltrating us in Northern Plains. Intruders. I'm tell you, we of Northern Plains are not cowards. Come at me if you have the guts, don't worry, before I die, I will certainly drag one of you down with me. Feng Juzhe sighed helplessly. In that case, the rest of you can stand down, I will handle it myself. Qin Baisheng's gaze was heavy as he stared at Feng Juzhe. He did not know who Feng Juzhe was, but he knew that he was the leader. During the battle earlier, he did not participate, he stood aloof. I will only use one move, if you can take it, I will let you leave. Feng Juzhe flew towards Qin Baisheng slowly, his expression was calm as he spoke lightly. Chapter 766 Immortal GU Compensation. Chapter 766, Immortal GU Compensation. One move. Hearing Feng Juzhe's words, Qin Baisheng laughed with a provoked tone. I have roamed the region freely for hundreds of years. I defeated Lu Hao, Chan Yushang, Nu Erdu, killed by Chan Zi, Jade Fire Farmer, Mountain Lord Tian Qing, had a draw with Yuan Rang Zun, and managed to escape with my life from 5 Elements Grandmaster. In the entirety of Northern Plains, only the 5 rank 8 GU Immortals can defeat me easily. But to kill me, even they would not find it easy. There are very few rank 7 GU Immortals that can rival me. You are also a rank 7 GU Immortal, you want to defeat me in one move. Ha ha ha. Qin Baisheng laughed loudly, his laughter was filled with great confidence towards himself. Feng Juzhe's words indeed were greatly arrogant. At once, even the central continent GU Immortals around him were starting to get worried. Feng Juzhe smiled lightly, he slowly narrated. When I was young, I loved music. When I started cultivating, I had a grand aspiration, that was to create a total of 9 songs, to express myself, to express all living beings, and to express heaven and earth. Up to this point, I have created 6 songs in total. If you can finish listening to this song of mine, then I will admit defeat and let you leave. Qin Baisheng's laughter gradually came to an end, he had a serious gaze as he stared at Feng Juzhe unblinkingly. Looking at Feng Juzhe, who had an earnest tone and a smiling face, Qin Baisheng felt an immense threat deep within himself. He thought for a moment and greeted Feng Juzhe solemnly, I have not asked for your name yet. Feng Juzhe greeted back, I am Feng Juzhe. Qin Baisheng's expression changed, so you are the number 1 person of Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects, no wonder. Ha ha ha, in that case, let me see what you can do. Feng Juzhe's fighting prowess had long since been famous, even to a Northern Plains GU Immortal like Qin Baisheng, the name and reputation were instantly recognizable. But after learning about Feng Juzhe's identity, Qin Baisheng instead felt an immeasurable surge of battle intent within himself. We are both rank 7 GU Immortal, what qualifications do you have to defeat the other GU Immortals in the 10 great ancient sects and become known as the strongest? I will see how strong you truly are. Feng Juzhe breathed in deeply, bowing slightly. This song is known as Green Jade Song, please enjoy it. The rest of the Central Continent GU Immortals backed off and created a wide open space for them. Come, Qin Baisheng shouted, his gaze was like lightning as his battle intent rushed out, he was oozing with grandeur. Snowy mountain blessed land, 3rd branch peak. Just now, this lucky escape was truly thanks to you. If old ancestor Shui Hu found out, even I would not be able to preserve little Lan's life. In the secret room, Fairy Li Shan spoke to Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng, expressing her gratitude. He Lu Lan was a crucial person in the collapse of Truyong building, she was more important than Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun. Once she was discovered, the entire world of GU Immortals would hunt her down. The situation was really dangerous, we were trying to guess why you missed the auction. Tai Bai Yunsheng said while sighing. If He Lu Lan was discovered, Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng would be involved as well, the 3 of them were tied together on a string. Oh, Fairy Li Shan sighed. I did not think that a dream realm could become a calamity. Do you have any ways to save little Lan? Tai Bai Yunsheng shook his head, looking at Fang Yuan who was beside him. Fang Yuan said solemnly, it's difficult. The dream calamity's target is He Lu Lan, Fairy Li Shan, you were only pulled in because you touched her. Thus, I just had to hurt you and make you feel pain. But He Lu Lan is deep inside the dream realm, even if you kill her, she will not awaken. Fairy Li Shan's eyes shined with hope. It's only difficult, that does not mean it is impossible. Fang Yuan, it seems you have a plan. Fang Yuan chuckled. He Lu Lan is fortunate, I obtained a GU in the auction that can form a dream path killer move to resolve this problem. But to form the killer move, the core immortal GU is not enough, I need the assistance of many mortal GU. Fairy Li Shan was overjoyed, saying, I can help with that. What refinement materials do you need to refine GU? Just tell me, I can satisfy that request. But Fang Yuan shook his head. These dream path mortal GU refinement materials can only be found in dream realms. Refining dream path GU is different from other paths, the entire process needs me to execute it personally. So dream path has such specifications. Fairy Li Shan blinked, this was the first time she had heard such news. Dream path GU worms were different from GU worms in other paths. One of the points was the refinement material, they were not material objects, they were obtained from inside dream realms. And the dream realm could only be of one's own dream, not others. Only the materials from one's own dream realm could refine these dream path GU worms. Fang Yuan had his previous life's memories, even though he developed slowly in dream path and had limited achievement, he still knew common knowledge like this. Currently, what was his common knowledge was now the most top-tier research results, the few forces treated them as their own treasures, sealing all the knowledge deeply. Because of the Snowy Mountain Alliance, Fairy Li Shan did not doubt Fang Yuan's words. But deep inside, she saw Fang Yuan in a different light again. She knew some parts of Fang Yuan's experiences and circumstances, especially the Guts GU trade, she obtained part of the profits. Fang Yuan is truly an impressive junior, it is almost as if he has a method to solve any problem. Earlier, he developed the Air Sac GU to hold the Guts GU. Now, he even has such research in Dream Path. This is not something a lone cultivator can come up with, it seems his background is not simple after all. Fairy Li Shan was thinking over it when Fang Yuan spoke again. Fairy, you know that my nature is straightforward, I like to talk openly and not beat about the bush. If I can save you both, what compensation will I get? Fairy Li Shan's eyes rolled, she was long since familiar with Fang Yuan's personality, she was not surprised, she smiled, the favor of saving a life is as heavy as a mountain. Fang Yuan, how many immortal essence stones or immortal GU recipes do you want, or even immortal materials, just tell me. Her tone was very courteous, after all, she was requesting his help. Fang Yuan raised his head. I do not want anything else, what I have in mind is Heilu Lan's self-strength GU and strength Qi GU. 2 lives for 2 GU. Fairy Li Shan's smile vanished without a trace, these 2 immortal GU are Little Lan's core GU worms. A gentleman would not take what others love, Fang Yuan, this condition is a little too harsh. Fang Yuan raised his eyebrows, are both of your lives not even as valuable as 2 GU worms? That is not accurate, Fairy Li Shan shook her head. Even if we were discovered, only Little Lan would be in danger, I would be fine. In fact, when Little Lan gets into trouble, you two would be implicated too. We are on the same boat now, helping us is also the same as helping yourselves. Fang Yuan smiled, nodding in agreement, Fairy makes perfect sense, I am full of admiration. Forget my previous condition, I will go prepare now. I promise you, within 3 to 5 years, I can surely save Heilu Lan. I have to go now. Saying this, Fang Yuan stood up and was ready to leave. Although the two had an agreement, and he could not leave her in the lurch, they also made rules such that one side could not force the other to save them using the agreement, they had to come up with an appropriate arrangement regarding compensation. Fang Yuan was not abandoning her, he was just taking a bit of time, thus, his actions were not against the alliance agreement. Fairy Li Shan felt a huge headache, she stood up and urged him, wait, Fang Yuan, we can discuss this. What does Fairy have to enlighten me with? I am all ears. Fang Yuan's attitude was very modest, he spoke very humbly. Oh, Fang Yuan, don't act like this. These 2 strength path immortal GU do not belong to me, I cannot promise you anything. Fairy Li Shan sighed deeply as she said this. Fang Yuan showed an understanding expression. That's right, I find this condition overboard too, pretend I never said it. Fairy is right, self-strength and strength Qi are very important immortal GU to Heilu Lan, how can you decide for her? Never mind, we are allies, I will definitely help her. But you need to know, refining Dream Path GU worms is very troublesome because it takes a long time and I need to do a lot of preparation. During this period of time, Fairy can try to find other ways to save Heilu Lan. Although my method will definitely succeed, it will take a long time. In this time period, if Heilu Lan is discovered by others, that would be bad. But thankfully, Tai Bai Yunsheng and I are in Central Continent, even if anything happens to Heilu Lan, we will act as good allies and avenge her. These words made Fairy Li Shan roll her eyes in anger. Tai Bai Yunsheng was laughing madly deep in his mind, he did not forget to add in, speaking of the alliance, we have about 2 years left. Once the time is up, and Heilu Lan is still unconscious, how would we continue the agreement? Oh, this is a troublesome matter. Tai Bai Yunsheng was a kind person, but when it came to key benefits, he had a firm attitude, he was not a pushover. You too. Fairy Li Shan was furious. He Lu Lan's identity was a secret, even though He Cheng knew, he had his own motives and would not dare to expose He Lu Lan's identity. But because of this, Fairy Li Shan could not find helpers easily. Regarding Dream Path, most of the super forces had done their research and obtained some results, but they would not give it to Fairy Li Shan to save He Lu Lan. Thus, for the problem Fairy Li Shan was facing, the most likely possibility with an effective method was to rely on Fang Yuan. Regarding all of this, Fairy Li Shan was deeply aware. Seeing that Fang Yuan was unwilling to relent, she had no better option but to take a step back, breathing in deeply before saying, "Never mind, maybe we simply had bad luck. I will do it your way, 2 Immortal GU. But you can only pick either one of self-strength and strength chi, I can take responsibility for this much in regards to Little Lan. The other Immortal GU will be provided by me. I'll speak the truth, this is my limit, don't force me any further." Tai Bai Yunsheng was moved, gasping, He Lu Lan is truly blessed to have Fairy as her aunt. Fairy Li Shan smiled bitterly, looking at Fang Yuan. She knew that although Tai Bai Yunsheng was Fang Yuan's senior brother, Fang Yuan was the leader between them. To save He Lu Lan, she needed Fang Yuan to help. Fang Yuan thought about it, he knew that although he could continue forcing her, that would cause their relationship to be greatly damaged. The amicable atmosphere that he had created earlier by splitting the profits with them would be completely ruined. Although self-strength and strength chi were 2 excellent GU, Fang Yuan had obtained several strength path immortal GU, he no longer had such an urgent need for them. Alright, I will listen to Fairy. I have always been interested in Fairy's mountain pledge GU. Fang Yuan spoke with a smile. Chapter 767 Immortal GU Time Luck. Chapter 767, Immortal GU Time Luck. What, you want mountain pledge GU? Fairy Li Shan stared with wide-opened eyes, her expression was furious. Mountain pledge immortal GU was extremely important, it was Fairy Li Shan's source of revenue. The saying goes, ruining a person's wealth is akin to killing their parents, it would mean deep hatred. Not only this, Mountain Pledge Immortal GU was the reason why Fairy Li Shan could make connections everywhere and work with GU immortals from the righteous and demonic paths in northern plains without much trouble. Once she lost Mountain Pledge GU, Fairy Li Shan's advantage would disappear. Fang Yuan laughed, waving his hand, "It is a joke, don't mind it." Of course he knew of the importance of Mountain Pledge Immortal GU, he was only probing her just now, he did not think he would succeed. Fairy Li Shan gritted her teeth, her tone turning cold. "Fang Yuan, that joke was not funny at all. I have several Immortal GU here, pick one of them as the compensation. As for the other half, Little Lan will pass it to you when she wakes up." Fang Yuan was originally thinking about He Lu Lan's slavery Immortal GU. But after seeing Fairy Li Shan's Immortal GU, his eyes shined as he changed his mind. "This Immortal GU is not bad, I will choose it." Fairy Li Shan saw the Immortal GU that Fang Yuan picked and she sighed in her mind, filled with a bitter feeling deep inside. She had just obtained this Immortal GU, she had not even used it yet and Fang Yuan was already taking it away. This GU's name was Time Luck, it was a luck path and time path Immortal GU, it consumed immortal essence and time to gain a boost in one's luck. Fairy Li Shan was very reluctant, she tried to explain to him, "Fang Yuan, if you really want to choose this GU, I have some words for you. I obtained this Time Luck Immortal GU as the payment from Qin Bai Sheng. If ordinary GU immortals use this GU, they will need to expend their own lifespan. But you are a zombie, in a half-dead state, you cannot use this GU. You might as well choose another GU." "Oh, so that's it," Fang Yuan showed some interest in his gaze. When GU immortals cultivate, they gained no lifespan during the process. In this world, ordinary people had approximately 100 years of lifespan. They would die of old age when they exceeded that. When GU masters became immortals, this time limit would not change. Only by using lifespan GU could they increase their lifespan without leaving behind any backlash. Other than that, there were methods like turning into a zombie, treatment, or the yin-yang life extension method, possession, or to sleep for most of the time to reduce their expenditure, but these were all suboptimal methods that went against nature to extend their lifespan. Because of this, GU immortals treasured their lifespan more than GU masters. When Qin Bai Sheng held this auction, almost all of the heroes and experts in Northern Plains GU immortal world showed up. But even so, no lifespan GU were sold. In contrast, in auctions held by mortal GU masters, there were lifespan GU sold occasionally. This was understandable. When GU masters become immortals, they naturally would understand the difficulty of cultivating. It was not easy to become a GU immortal. They would even more treasure this feeling of being above mortal concerns, having such a high status and standard of living. As a result, they treasured their lives, often roaming the 5 regions. Unless there was a need, they likely would not live inside their grotto heaven or blessed land. Because the time flow in the grotto heaven or blessed land was faster, a GU immortal's limited lifespan would be expended even more quickly than if they were in the 5 regions. Mortal GU masters did not know how precious lifespan was. They would often use some forbidden techniques that expended their lifespan to raise their battle strength. The higher the rank one reaches, the broader their horizons, the more they treasured their life, and they would try all sorts of ways to extend their lifespan. For example, like first gen GUU and Century Boy. Such situations, in regards to GU immortals, were much more severe. This was like the contrast of rich and poor people. Ordinary people were busy trying to earn a living, they disregarded their health. Rich people, however, treasured their lives and paid great attention to sustaining their health. At the end of the day, it was not that rich people were superior to poor people, it was because of their circumstances and statuses that they could act and think differently. Fairy Li Shan was obviously a GU immortal. Time Luck Immortal GU expended immortal essence and lifespan to boost the user's luck. Since she took it, she naturally had a way to make up for this flaw. Fang Yuan was a shrewd person, he immediately guessed that Fairy Li Shan had such a crucial method. Fairy Li Shan saw that Fang Yuan was looking at her with shining eyes, she knew that she could not hide it and said helplessly, "I will not hide it from you, I have a method to use Time Luck Immortal GU as the core, to form an immortal killer move. It can draw upon another person's lifespan, expending it and amplify one's own luck." Fang Yuan had suffered at the hands of Luck Path before, but he had also benefited greatly from Luck Path. He immediately asked, "I wonder if Fairy may sell this immortal killer move to me." "Don't even think about it." Fairy Li Shan replied extremely quickly. Fang Yuan knew this would happen, he was not upset, he laughed instead, "That being the case, I still want this immortal GU." Fairy Li Shan's expression turned cold. "Fang Yuan, are you trying to ruin my plans?" "I would not dare to." Fang Yuan's expression turned solemn, he said with sincerity, explaining, "Even if you did not have this killer move, I would still choose this immortal GU. The reason is solely because I obtained an improved mortal GU recipe of Inch of Time. Time Luck Immortal GU needs an immortal killer move and time to activate. If I use Inch of Time, I might be able to replace it as the expenditure and prevent my lifespan from being affected." "Is that so?" Fairy Li Shan was stunned, she did not know this. Tai Bai Yunsheng chuckled, explaining for Fang Yuan, "When we bought this GU recipe, we did not think that Fairy would have Time Luck Immortal GU. It seems that we can fortunately coordinate them together." Regarding this matter, Tai Bai Yunsheng had the right to speak. He was a Time Path GU immortal. Time Luck Immortal GU and Inch of Time were both Time Path GU worms. Since he had the feeling and predicted that these two GU worms could coordinate, then that was probably going to work. Fairy Li Shan's expression relaxed, but her tone was still stiff. Even in that case, to think of a brand new immortal killer move using Time Luck Immortal GU and Inch of Time as the foundation will be a huge project. "Why don't you leave the Time Luck Immortal GU with me first, and I will use the immortal killer move to improve your luck, isn't that a better result?" Fang Yuan laughed heartily, immediately replying, "Precisely because you have the immortal killer move, we thought about the method to use Time Luck and Inch of Time. We can also lend the Time Luck Immortal GU to you, Fairy. At that point, you can activate the immortal killer move and improve our luck, that works the same." Fairy Li Shan's expression froze, she thought, "Immortal GU are unique, if Time Luck Immortal GU is in your hands, you hold the initiative. Who knows what will happen in the future? The Snowy Mountain Alliance has a time limit, whether we continue it or not is unknown. If we become enemies, would you lend the Time Luck Immortal GU to me?" As Fairy Li Shan thought of this, she understood. Wasn't her worry exactly what Fang Yuan was concerned about? If Time Luck Immortal GU was in her hands, and she had the immortal killer move, she would hold the initiative. In the future, if the alliance expired, even if she helped Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng improve their luck, wouldn't she be the one deciding on the price? "Fang Yuan, this lad is tough to deal with." Fairy Li Shan gritted her teeth secretly, regretting her decision to take out Time Luck Immortal GU. Her plan was to use Time Luck Immortal GU and this immortal killer move to create a new source of revenue. Improving the luck of other GU immortals would definitely be a popular service. But He Lu Lan was stuck in the dream realm, and Fairy Li Shan needed their help. Since she was unwilling to allow both Strength Path Immortal Gu to fall into Fang Yuan's hands, she was in a passive spot. Even though Fairy Li Shan had a huge network, Heilu Lan's identity could not be exposed, she could only rely on Fang Yuan's help, thus he had her firmly in his grasp. Fang Yuan saw the chance and extorted her. This was a ruthless blow, he struck at the crucial part and bit off a huge chunk of flesh. Forget about it. With Fang Yuan's craftiness, if I did not take out Time Luck Immortal Gu, he might not want the other Immortal Gu. Even if he wanted both Strength Path Immortal Gu, what could I do? Can I let Little Lan remain in the dream realm forever? Little sister left behind a familial emotion along with a large amount of green grape immortal essence, they are still in Little Lan's immortal aperture. That was the reason why Little Lan was able to use Immortal Gu when she was immortal. However, with this dream realm calamity, the familial emotion has instead made it even stronger. With such a close relationship, the dream realm cannot be broken, it is grasping Little Lan tightly and preventing her from escaping. As time passes, her soul might disappear. Fairy Li Shan sighed, Fang Yuan was her only hope now. She was an astute person, she had her own plans and did not expose Heilu Lan's secret of having Su Xian Er's familial emotion. She did not lie, she just hid it from them. In the future, even if Fang Yuan could not save Heilu Lan, because of the agreement, he had to find a new method. One could say, no matter the results, Fairy Li Shan had Fang Yuan on their side. At least, when it came to saving Heilu Lan, they were in agreement. Thinking of this, Fairy Li Shan had to let go despite her reluctance, she allowed Fang Yuan to take Time Luck Immortal Gu. This transaction ended with both sides fulfilling their own needs. Fang Yuan used the chance to extort 2 Immortal Gu, because it happened to suit his new plans, it could be said that he greatly profited. But he had not found out Fairy Li Shan's true bottom line. In truth, even if Fang Yuan wanted the 2 Strength Path Immortal Gu, it was not impossible. But Fairy Li Shan's acting was impeccable, Fang Yuan could not probe her true bottom line. Meanwhile, Fairy Li Shan paid 2 Immortal Gu to break free of the dream realm and save their lives. Their lives were naturally more valuable than the Immortal Gu. Thus, they formed a new agreement and completed this transaction. Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng immediately returned to Hu Immortal Blessed Land, trying to refine the various Dream Path Mortal Gu, to form the Immortal Killer move and save Heilu Lan. Meanwhile, Fairy Li Shan rushed to the first peak of Snowy Mountain. There, old ancestor Shui, who had already gathered most of the demonic path Gu immortals, and had urged Fairy Li Shan multiple times already. Before going, Fairy Li Shan said with a look of concern, urging Fang Yuan, I am only leaving Little Lan here temporarily, the third peak is not safe, Fang Yuan, I hope you can do your best, the longer this drags on, the more dangerous it gets. If Little Lan is in trouble, you will not be safe either. Chapter 768 Identity Exposed. Chapter 768, Identity Exposed. Fang Yuan activated fixed immortal travel, returning to Hu Immortal Blessed Land, but at the same time, at a certain battlefield in northern plains, a fight was coming to an end, the victor had been decided. More than 10 Gu immortals surrounded the 2 people at the center. Qin Bai Sheng landed on the ground, bending his back as he pushed his knees upwards, preventing himself from kneeling down. He was no longer in the previous bold and heroic state. Even his intense battle intent earlier had dissipated, it had completely transformed into shock and dejection. This immortal killer move is called Green Jade Song. Qin Bai Sheng raised his head and looked at Feng Juzhe, speaking as he spat out blood. His blood was no longer red, it had turned into an eerie green. As the green blood was spat out, it solidified rapidly, turning into beads of jade pearls while falling to the ground. These jade pearls collided with the ground and emitted a crisp sound. The surroundings within a huge area had completely been turned into a domain of jade. The soil on the ground used to be extremely ordinary, but now it had been turned entirely into green jade. Not just that, the reeds on the ground had also become jade-like objects. As the wind blew, the jade stems swayed with the wind, as the reed leaves shook slightly. Meanwhile, there was a jade will emitting from Qin Bai Sheng's body. Not only were his clothes turned into jade, half of his hair had turned jade too. Even most of his skin had frozen into jade. The blood in his body could not flow smoothly, there was the contaminated jade blood in his body. Qin Bai Sheng was now trying to get them out of his body. Thankfully, his organs and intestines were protected by his defensive immortal killer move, they managed to resist the Green Jade Song. After personally witnessing the process of Qin Bai Sheng losing to one attack, the remaining Central Continent Gu immortals had a grim expression, their gazes towards Feng Juzhe were full of wariness. Feng Juzhe floated in the air, looking at Qin Baisheng as he said with a tone of admiration, "That's right, this is my own creation, green jade song, it can convert everything into jade. You were able to resist it for 15 minutes, that is very rare. Alright, you are truly strong and courageous, it is too much of a pity if you die here, searching your soul is too disrespectful too. How about this, I will ask you a few questions, just answer me truthfully." The Central Continent GU Immortals heard Feng Juzhe's words and felt some surprise. This was not in line with their earlier plans. "Lord Feng Juzhe, Qin Baisheng is a Northern Plains expert, if you let him go so easily, you might be leaving behind a future danger. This person could resist Green Jade Song for 15 minutes, he is a strong adversary and a lone cultivator, why don't we?" Everyone spoke out, hoping that Feng Juzhe would kill Qin Baisheng. On one hand, they were wary of his battle strength, but on the other hand, they were coveting Qin Baisheng's great wealth. Qin Baisheng was one of the biggest winners in the auction. To make a comparison, the total amount of immortal materials that Fang Yuan obtained after selling all of the GU immortal captives was less than 1% of his earnings. But Feng Juzhe waved his hand. "I have already made up my mind, there is no need to say anything else. Old Oracle, I will need you to use the killer move, Gentleman's Bamboo." Facing Feng Juzhe's firm attitude and insistence, the Central Continent GU Immortals were silent. The green jade battlefield in front of them was the greatest deterrence. They were all experts of the 10 great ancient sects, but they had all found out now that they could not even take one attack from Feng Juzhe. If they swapped places with Qin Baisheng, they would end up in an even poorer state. Feng Juzhe's strength was so great that all the GU Immortals here lost their vigor. Qin Baisheng had lost his battle intent, while the Central Continent GU Immortals were thinking, no wonder Feng Juzhe was acknowledged to be at first place in Central Continent. 6 songs meant 6 immortal killer moves, Green Jade Song was only one of them. With such battle strength, he was simply terrifying, even against a rank 8 GU Immortal, he might not be inferior. The young-looking Wisdom Path GU Immortal that was called by Feng Juzhe was from Ancient Soul Sect of Central Continent. He breathed in deeply, walking out towards the center of the battlefield. He stretched out his fist from his wide sleeve, opening his 5 fingers as a colorless crystal bamboo grew out of his palm. "My immortal killer move, Gentleman's Bamboo, uses the rank 6 Immortal GU Bamboo Gentleman as the core, with 660 Mortal GU complementing it, it is used specially for detecting lies. Even though the core Immortal GU is rank 6, this killer move can work against rank 7 GU Immortals. But against rank 8, it will not be effective." Old Oracle's explanation sounded modest, but it was actually a threat to Qin Baisheng to not play any tricks. Qin Baisheng's expression was very ugly, he understood what Old Oracle was trying to say. "I lost to one move, Feng Juzhe, you are really amazing. My skill was inferior, I admit my defeat, ask away." "But you can only ask 3 questions. Qin Baisheng said. A few Central Continent GU Immortals were unhappy, they frowned as they emitted killing intent. Feng Juzhe smiled. "No problem, 3 questions are enough. Ask quickly, I have no time to waste." Qin Baisheng spat out the last mouthful of jade blood, regaining a bit of his grandeur. "The first question, who is the person who sold these immortal GU, delight in water and mountain and worldly wave trace?" Qin Baisheng was stunned, he imagined Fang Yuan's appearance, feeling sour and bitter within. "Sha Huang, oh Sha Huang, you were the one who brought harm to your brother." Thoughts flashed across his mind as Qin Baisheng replied plainly without hesitating, "This seller is called Sha Huang, he is an immortal zombie." "Sha Huang immortal zombie," Feng Juzhe muttered, "continue speaking." Qin Baisheng continued. "I only met this person recently, because I used my rank 6 luck inspection immortal GU and saw that this person's luck was greater than normal, I befriended him. This person has a mysterious origin, it seems he has a backer. In this auction, he sold 13 GU immortal captives. Among them, there was a rank 7 GU immortal, Rushing Thunder Hand Wu Hao. Furthermore, he has a close relationship with Fairy Li Shan, that is all I know." Once he said that, Qin Baisheng's body shook as his skin burst open, blood poured out like a fountain with no sign of stopping. Qin Baisheng growled in pain, concentrating as he activated his healing immortal GU. After a dozen breaths, he stabilized his injuries, but the pain was too unbearable, his body was still shivering slightly. This was due to the previous alliance agreement. Now that he leaked the information, he had broken the agreement and was facing an intense backlash, his life was in danger. Feng Juzhe looked at Qin Baisheng, then turning around to look at Old Oracle. The colorless bamboo in old Oracle's hands was swaying without a trace of a change in color. This proved that Qin Bai Sheng's words were all truthful. Thus, Feng Zhuzhe continued to ask, "The second question is regarding the collapse of 88 Truyong building, tell me all that you know." Qin Bai Sheng heard this and his expression became very ugly. An hour later, the Central Continent GU Immortals watched as Qin Bai Sheng flew into the sky, becoming a small black dot as he vanished from their vision. One of them was not satisfied. "Lord Feng Zhuzhe, are we really letting him off? He has so many immortal GU with him, he even has almost half of the immortal materials traded in the auction." Feng Zhuzhe shook his head. "It is not that I do not want to strike, but I found out that he has a method to detonate his soul, just the aura of it alone is terrifying. If we force him, he will probably drag a few of you down with him. By then, our plan to get information would fail. It's actually like this." The GU Immortals were uncertain. Feng Zhuzhe said with deep meaning, "Look at this colorless crystal bamboo, you can tell if I lied." Everyone kept quiet. Old Oracle smiled sheepishly, retracting his immortal killer move. He changed the subject. "Thanks to Lord Feng Zhuzhe, we obtained these clues, it will really help in deducing the true culprit." Feng Zhuzhe nodded. "We will split into two groups now, one will protect Old Oracle and let him deduce in peace. The other will follow me and go to Northern Plains Zombie Alliance, finding out news about Shahuang. If Shahuang is a member inside Zombie Alliance, we will capture him on the spot, that would be the best outcome." The Central Continent GU Immortals listened to him, they split into two groups and retreated rapidly. 15 minutes later, several blurry silhouettes landed here. How can this be? Looking at the green jade field in front of them, He Langzi could still sense the power of this killer move, wariness flashed in his eyes. Oh no, Qin Bai Sheng was ambushed, they have already fought. He Cheng had rich experience, his expression sank when he saw this. Fairy Zhongyu quickly took out a set of investigative GU, after checking, she let out a breath of turbid air. Thankfully, even though they fought, Qin Bai Sheng was not captured, he has already escaped in that direction. Fairy Zhongyu's investigative method made He Cheng and Shui Songzi gasp in shock in their minds. When the Central Continent GU Immortals left, they had erased all of their traces, but when Fairy Zhongyu used her method, she managed to expose more than 10 GU Immortal auras. These auras all differed, they were in all kinds of sizes, among them, the aura that Feng Zhuzhe left behind was the largest, far greater than the rest. Qin Bai Sheng managed to escape from the ambush of more than 10 GU Immortals. Shui Songzi was surprised. "We are only 5 people, how can we trap Qin Bai Sheng?" "Don't worry, I have a method," the mysterious black-robed GU Immortal said in a hoarse voice. Fairy Zhongyu retrieved her GU worms, she showed an anxious expression. "Go, in that direction, let's chase him." Langya blessed land, what a huge piece of spiky metal. Wow, 1,500 kilograms of death water. These are actually jade wood eggs, wow, so many. Fang Yuan, you are so crafty and scheming, you did not disappoint me at all. Langya land spirit looked at the mountain of immortal materials, while having a joyous expression mixed with pain. Not only were the quality of the immortal materials in front of him good, they were huge in quantity, the land spirit was pleased. But when he thought about the 4 to 6 split between him and Fang Yuan, he felt bitter deep inside. Those 13 GU immortal captives were all from Langya land spirit's work. But now, Fang Yuan was gaining a huge profit from them, he felt very uncomfortable. "Actually, if you want the immortal materials, it is not impossible," Fang Yuan said. Langya land spirit stared with his eyes wide open, he was not happy, instead, he showed intense alertness. "Rascal, what scheme are you up to now?" He was scared of falling into Fang Yuan's trap. "You have a lot of hairy men in your blessed land, they are raised well and are good at refining GU. But mine are quite inferior. I have a lot of mortal GU to refine, help me refine these GU and I'll pay for it using immortal materials." "Don't be afraid, this is a fair trade," Fang Yuan said warmly. Langya land spirit's eyes rolled, without thinking for too long, he agreed. "Alright, since I often help that Inkman lad anyway, I'll take your business too." Chapter 769 Testing Immortal GU. Chapter 769, Testing Immortal GU. Hu Immortal Blessed Land. A crystal mountain stood high at the center of Hu Immortal Blessed Land. It was recorded in less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than Danghun Mountain. Fang Yuan was hovering above Danghun Mountain in his original form, with a height of 6 meters, a green face with sharp fangs, imposing build and 8 monstrous arms. However, when compared to Danghun Mountain, he was minuscule like an ant. Fang Yuan's eyes let out bright light as he looked at Danghun Mountain below him, and suddenly gave a shout, "Cooling Mountain." Next moment, a formless, majestic force erupted from within him and moved towards Danghun Mountain. Fang Yuan opened up his 8 arms in an embracing pose, as if he was hugging a giant object. He gritted his teeth and exerted all his strength, like he was lifting a very heavy item. Rumble. At first, the sound was only a slight noise. But soon, the sound kept on increasing till the surroundings started to tremor slightly. The object that was causing the sound was Danghun Mountain. Under the activation of Fang Yuan's Immortal GU, this large crystal mountain began to slowly rise, leaving the ground. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth, the muscles in his 8 arms bulged up like lumps of rocks. Not only his arms, the muscles in his entire body were being exerted. Creaking noises started echoing from his body, with his bones being under extremely heavy pressure. With his great efforts, Danghun Mountain was lifted higher, gradually rising 5 to 6 inches from the ground. Hu Immortal Land Spirit was watching this with a shocked expression, with her mouth slightly agape. Rise. Fang Yuan wanted to properly test the Immortal GU, and did not stop even at this stage. Rays of light started to gradually shine from his body. These rays were all over his whole body, but were not close together and looked extremely sparse. The rays of light started getting brighter. At the same time, the speed at which Fang Yuan raised Danghun Mountain was also becoming faster. At first, the mountain was only raised by inches, now it was ascending foot by foot. While activating the Immortal GU Cooling Mountain, Fang Yuan observed his body as well. These shiny rays of light on his body were Strength Path Dao marks. Strength Path Dao marks covered his whole body without any particular order, some got entangled and gathered into one ray, while some occupied certain parts of his skin by themselves. I activated the Immortal GU, Cooling Mountain, with all my strength, and the Strength Path Dao marks on me resonated with the Immortal GU. The power of the Immortal GU did not change, but I could bring out close to 20% more strength from this resonance. Fang Yuan persisted for a while longer, until all the bones on his body started cracking. Danghun Mountain was lifted to a height of 200 to 300 feet, before he slowly placed it back down. The enormous and heavy mountain landed on the ground, producing a reverberating noise, like that of muffled thunder, and raising a billowing wave of dust. Fang Yuan breathed roughly, his whole body was worn out and limp, there were many injuries to his muscles as well. However, a few breaths later, with an immortal zombie's powerful regenerative ability, all his injuries, whether they were in bones or muscles, recovered rapidly. Fang Yuan's breathing stabilized. He slowly closed his eyes, meticulously recalling the sensation from just earlier, while still hovering in the air. Before using the Strength Path Immortal GU, Cooling Mountain, Fang Yuan had gone through many kinds of deductions. Now that he was using it, his understanding was deepened. After all, true knowledge was derived from practice. Ever since I became a Strength Path GU Immortal, there has been no increase in the Strength Path Dao marks on my body. Thus, even after using all my effort and under the resonance of Strength Path Dao marks, I could only increase my power by close to 20%. Activating Cooling Mountain Immortal GU will continuously consume Immortal Essence. Just this period of time already used up 3 beads of my green grape Immortal Essence. The consumption seems very high, but considering that the target was Danghun Mountain, it is not much. Danghun Mountain was a wondrous place that could produce Guts GU, it was unique in the entire 9 heavens and 5 regions. Not even Snowy Mountain could match the value of such a precious treasure. Based on this, Fang Yuan speculated that it would be much easier for him if he pulled other ordinary mountain ranges compared to Danghun Mountain. Cooling Mountain is good. After a while, Fang Yuan opened his eyes and softly praised, extremely satisfied deep inside. No mountains were easy to pull or move. Trees had tree roots, while mountains had mountain roots. If they were casually moved, the roots could be broken and result in their destruction. According to theory involving Qi path, the whole world constituted of heaven and earth Qi. The two Qi converged, freely and unceasingly, forming all kinds of natural landscapes. For instance, wind, rain, thunder and lightning were caused by abundant heaven Qi mixed with occasional earth Qi. Mountains and hills were the condensation of earth Qi with a bit of heaven Qi blended in. Destruction was always much easier than construction. Mountains and rivers were easy to destroy, but could not be easily shifted. Mountain roots were connected to the earth, interlinked by earth Qi. The earth Qi was like the foundation of a tall building. If the mountain was forcibly pulled, it could directly break the earth Qi and destroy the mountain. However, Cooling Mountain had a mysterious ability of directly breaking the connection with the earth Qi without damaging the body of the mountain. After the mountain was placed down, it could connect with the earth chi again. This was not something achievable through ordinary methods. Pulling mountain, pulling water. Let's try this strength path Immortal Gu next. Fang Yuan left Danghun Mountain and with little Hu Immortal's help, he instantly arrived at the Blessed Land's eastern area, hovering in front of a lake. The eastern part of Hu Immortal Blessed Land was covered in lakes of all sizes. It was the result of Fang Yuan linking the east and the north, using water to extinguish fire in the past. At that time, countless rockmen had been sacrificed. Now, the lakes here were supporting the habitats of large amounts of blue jade carps, many air bubble fishes and a few water wolf groups. Above the lakes, there were many dark clouds linked continuously. Large numbers of star fragment grass were planted on the dark clouds, forming grasslands in the sky. In the grasslands, groups of starlight fireflies were fluttering about. Among the ordinary firefly groups, there was a higher than average proportion of starlight firefly Gu mixed in them. Thus, although there were thick dark clouds over the eastern part of the Hu Immortal Blessed Land, starlight shined brightly all over the area. In the sky was a grassland of starry clouds, while on the ground were lakes spread all over, sparkling and reflecting the starlight. Fang Yuan flew above the largest lake, activating pulling water Immortal Gu. A similar formless force penetrated into the lake. Fang Yuan slowly raised two hands and immediately with a splashing sound, large amounts of lake water were lifted into the air. Compared with pulling Danghun Mountain, Fang Yuan felt that pulling the lake water here was as easy as picking up paper. There was an enormous difference between the two. The lake water's state was still the same as before with no change. Large numbers of fish, shrimps, eels and turtles were freely moving around inside. It was only that they were not able to swim beyond the periphery. A formless force held up the lake water in place of the lake shore. Underneath the floating lake, the bottom of the lake had completely dried up, without a trace of water left behind. Large amounts of water plants were piled up on the lake bed, along with stones, shells, and so on. Fang Yuan moved his 10 fingers in different ways, causing the formless force to change. The giant lake water was like a piece of muddy clay that allowed Fang Yuan to mold it according to his will. Occasionally, it took a form of a long strip of dough, round like a ball another time, and the next moment it was finally molded into a hexahedron. After transforming it for a while, Fang Yuan stopped moving his fingers, before exerting the thoughts in his mind. The lake water shook non-stop, displaying all sorts of weird and strange shapes, like a deer flying, a cloud moving, but regardless of the changes, the fish groups and other living beings inside were covered by the formless force, unable to get out. Nice, nice. Little Hu Immortal, who was watching from the side, laughed joyfully with bright eyes. Tai Bai Yunsheng was also watching, and heaved a sigh. Moving mountains and overturning rivers, it truly is the sight of an immortal's power. Fang Yuan's thoughts moved again, and the enormous lake water slowly and gently landed back into the lake. Fang Yuan retrieved the formless force, stopping pulling water Immortal Gu. This lake was restored to its previous state, but there were waves churning on the surface of the lake, lasting for a long while. These two strength path Immortal Gu have specific forces. One is targeted at mountain ranges, while the other is for water. If used with kind intentions, one can bring in rain, and move mountains to open a path. If used with malicious intention, mountains can capsize and giant waves could rise up to the sky. Fang Yuan inwardly praised. This was the battle strength of Gu Immortals. They could directly steamroll through mortal Gu masters like crushing ants. I obtained 2 Gu and my battle strength immediately rose explosively. But to integrate them in my immortal killer move, Myriad Self, won't be an easy matter. I will definitely need time and effort. Unlike the immortal Gu, self-strength and strength chi, which can almost directly merge with Myriad Self because Myriad Self's concept matches with them. Designing a killer move was not simple. The lightning path Gu Immortal, Vicious Lightning Fiend, had gone into secluded cultivation for several years before he was able to draw references from the blood deity Immortal Gu recipe to create the killer move, Lightning Deity. He Lu Lan already had the mortal killer move, Self-Strength Phantom. Even with this foundation, making it an immortal killer move was difficult. She had been trying so hard at it, but still had little success. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had created blood path killer moves, and it was a result from racking his brains, spending long periods of time and making painstaking efforts. Fang Yuan still did not have any clue on how to merge these two strength path Immortal Gu into Myriad Self. But he was not worried and was even confident. One part of this confidence came from his strength path attainment. More of it came from his incomparable confidence in rank 9 wisdom Gu. The light of wisdom could produce unlimited inspiration. This was a supreme tool in deducing GU recipes, immortal GU recipes, mortal killer moves, immortal killer moves and many other things. Looking back at this auction, Feng Yuan lost worldly wave trace, rising azure cloud, delight in water and mountain, and gained iron crown eagle strength, pulling mountain, pulling water, eat strength and unravel mystery. Every GU was good, the main matter was whether they suited oneself. Feng Yuan's battle strength had increased by a very large scale with this auction. Junior brother, you gained a lot in this auction. When you completely process them, your battle strength will surely increase by several times. Tai Bai Yunsheng slowly flew over, praising Feng Yuan happily. Feng Yuan nodded. Right, I now have a desolate beast bat corpse and can add in the third pair of bat wings. Eat strength immortal GU and iron crown eagle strength GU can be used to cultivate, increasing the strength path Dao marks in my body. The more Dao marks there are, the more power I can bring out when I use strength path immortal GU. There is also inch of time, memory thought GU, malicious thought GU and others which I need to urgently produce in large numbers. I have to combine the complete unfamiliar face and the incomplete vaguely familiar face to design an entirely new method of disguise. There is much work to be done and they all need to be carried out. In the coming days, Feng Yuan was definitely going to be extremely busy. But this was a good thing. The auction was an excellent opportunity which Feng Yuan tightly grabbed onto and made the best use of, bringing progress in more or less every aspect. Tai Bai Yunsheng reminded. Don't forget your agreement with Fairy Li Shan. The main task is to refine Dream Path Mortal GU to form the immortal killer move which can awaken He Lu Lan. I understand this, you should go to Eastern Sea. Tai Bai Yunsheng smiled. Shark Demon has already urged me several times over these last days. Junior brother, if there is anything, just notify me and I will immediately return. Feng Yuan frowned. Be careful. We have revealed many things in this auction, also, Ma and Zhao have fallen into the hands of others, this is not good for us. At this moment, he was still not aware that his immortal zombie Shahuang identity was already exposed. Chapter 770 Refining Dream Path Mortal GU. Chapter 770, Refining Dream Path Mortal GU. Amidst the light drizzle, Qingmao Mountain appeared even greener than usual. Feng Yuan sat in his room, facing his younger brother Feng Zheng. Brother, why are you still so stubborn? Uncle and aunt had raised us with great difficulty these last years, yet you reported them to the elders, this is really an ungrateful act. Feng Zheng puffed up his chest, standing in front of Feng Yuan as he scolded with a righteous tone. Feng Yuan's expression was calm, his gaze was cold as ice as he looked around, thinking, this dream realm is very realistic. Soon after, he inspected his body, seeing that in his rank 3 aperture, he had liquor worm, all-out effort GU and others. Feng Yuan's mind settled, he thought, this body's cultivation level is the same as before the 3 Kings Blessed Land time period. At this time, Feng Zheng said with agitation, right now, there is still some time before the elders' trial, it is still possible for brother to withdraw your case. If you really put up a case against them, your reputation will be ruined, everyone will look down on you, I will not acknowledge you as my brother. Feng Yuan chuckled, he stood up and walked towards Feng Zheng. Feng Zheng took a step back. Brother, what are you trying to do? Seeing him like this, Feng Yuan felt a strong sense of disgust in his heart. This is the dream realm's entanglement. Feng Yuan knew this in his heart, he held in his disgust as he walked past Feng Zheng, walking out of the door. Brother. Feng Zheng turned around, grabbing Feng Yuan's arm. Feng Yuan could not enter or leave, he turned around and looked at his brother, the sense of disgust deep inside was growing. He had an urge to give Feng Zheng a slap before moving away. But Feng Yuan became calmer, he grabbed Feng Zheng's arm as he exerted strength, attempting to free himself. But soon after, Feng Zheng's other arm grabbed Feng Yuan. Feng Yuan sighed helplessly, a sharp light flashed in his eyes as he raised his leg, kicking Feng Zheng onto the ground. Feng Zheng was sent crashing onto the ground, he could not get up for the time being. Feng Yuan was freed and turned around, taking large steps and walking out of the door. The moment he left, the scene in front of him changed. He was in the GUU clan's discussion hall. The elders were all seated on the 2 rows at the sides. The clan leader was at the center, looking down at Feng Zheng and Feng Yuan. Feng Yuan inspected himself, finding that he was kneeling on the ground along with Feng Zheng beside him. Feng Yuan's was fully aware, he knew that when he kicked Feng Zheng earlier, his emotions had been moved and it caused the dream realm's entanglement to become stronger. Previously it was the first scene, it was just a room with 2 people. But now in the discussion hall, it was larger than the room, and there were around 10 people. Most of their faces were blurry, only Fang Zheng's face was clearly visible. Fang Yuan looked around, he only gazed at the clan leader for a short period of time before his face suddenly became clearer. Fang Yuan quickly looked away, not daring to keep gazing. The longer he looked, the more his memories would be pulled out, and the more realistic the dream realm would be. The bigger problem was getting his emotions involved. The moment emotions he invested, he would fall further into the dream realm's entanglement. Fang Yuan did not have any dream path immortal GU to help him. If he lost himself in the snare, it would be hard for him to free himself. Where is the GU refinement material in the dream? Don't tell me it is not in this second scene, but the third. Fang Yuan looked around as he searched, but there was no result. Just as he was thinking, the clan leader spoke. Soon afterwards, a clan elder stood out and announced to everyone that Fang Yuan was suing his aunt and uncle for trying to embezzle his parents' inheritance. Fang Zheng was the witness, speaking for his uncle and aunt. As Fang Yuan listened to them, the disgust and hatred deep inside him grew, even a sense of anger was hidden within. As the elders spoke, they were all siding with Fang Zheng. They did not treat Fang Yuan well at all. Fang Yuan's situation was getting more dangerous, but he still remained extremely calm. He paid careful attention to these emotions. Deep within himself, he was sneering in disdain at them from beginning to end. The accused may enter now. At this moment, the clan leader spoke. Uncle and aunt appeared. They had an angry expression. The moment they spoke, they chided Fang Yuan, saying that he had an unfilial attitude. They said that this was completely a baseless accusation. There was no such thing, but all of the elders believed their words, smiling coldly at Fang Yuan. We will give you one last chance. Do you have anything else to say? At the end, the clan leader opened his mouth, asking Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan coldly smiled. This was the trap of the dream realm. Once he spoke and triggered his emotions, he would be in danger. Thus, he kept quiet and shook his head. The clan leader's expression changed. He sneered as he pointed. You are truly guilty. You have no words to rebuke us. I will now declare, you will return the 9-leaf vitality grass GU back to your uncle and aunt. The 9-leaf vitality grass appeared very fresh and lifelike. It was taken out of his aperture and handed to his uncle and aunt. Fang Zheng kowtowed continuously, thank you Lord Clan Leader, thank you elders for your clear judgment, you protected my innocent uncle and aunt's reputation. Fang Yuan felt faint anger and sadness in his heart, but he controlled them. His gaze was shining. He stared at the 9-leaf vitality grass. The GU refinement material had appeared in the dream. It was this 9-leaf vitality grass. That really was full of hidden danger. The key item is involved in all sorts of ways to trigger my emotions. The more I focus on this dream material, the more my emotions would be drawn out. I would sink into the dream realm's entanglement. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan made a move, using his primeval essence and injecting them into his GU. Several strength path phantoms appeared, attacking his uncle and aunt. He took the 9-leaf vitality grass, immediately, not staying afterwards, charging out of the door without hesitation. Scoundrel! The clan leader smiled in spite of his anger. He charged out as well. You dare to offend your seniors, you are too audacious, you deserve death. The elders shouted angrily, following the leader and chasing after Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had just stepped out of the door when the scene in front of him changed. He was in a cave with countless pale white bones around him. This reminded Fang Yuan of southern borders by Jiu Mountain. Because of Grey Bone Scholar's inheritance, Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing worked together, eventually escaping Bai Jiu Mountain and hiding from the assault of Bai clan. This was a vivid memory etched in the depths of his heart. The moment he had this recollection, the surroundings of the cave became clearer. They even changed and became exactly like Bai Jiu Mountain back then. Fang Yuan was alerted. He stopped recalling his memories. At this moment, GUU clan leader brought close to 10 clan elders, entering Fang Yuan's vision and chasing him. Fang Yuan quickly retreated. Once he died in the dream realm, his soul would take great damage, or he might even die because of the dream. In the 500 years of his previous life, who knows how many GU masters fell into a dream realm's entanglement and lost their lives inside dream realms. According to Fang Yuan's soul foundation, death was not possible, but his soul could get heavily injured. Fang Yuan was not afraid of soul injuries, because he was in control of the exclusive Guts GU transaction. The problem was, if he left the dream realm due to injuries, the dream material that he had searched for with much difficulty would vanish. His work would be wasted. Fang Yuan did not want that. As Fang Yuan escaped, he checked the 9-leaf vitality grass GU in his pocket. The grass GU was realistic and lifelike. Fang Yuan had a sensation deep within himself, reminding him that this was a high-tier ingredient for refining Dream GU. Fang Yuan moved about left and right, escaping into a small cave. He released a few GU worms as a danger detection method, before sitting on the ground and refining GU using the GU recipe in his memories. Halfway through the refinement, Fang Yuan was discovered by some pursuers. They blocked the only exit of the cave. Fang Yuan sighed helplessly. He activated several strength path beast phantoms and forced his way out. During the intense battle, he restrained his emotions and only forced them out, not killing them. A moment later, he found a second cave and entered it to refine GU again. This time, the refinement was even shorter. He only finished 30% before he was discovered by Fang Zheng. "He is here," Fang Zheng shouted loudly. Fang Yuan snorted, kicking and sending Fang Zheng flying. At this time, an elder had arrived already, assaulting Fang Yuan from behind. Every time he got injured in the dream, it was a huge hit to his soul. Fang Yuan was in a dangerous situation. He turned around and summoned several beast strength phantoms, turning this elder who attacked him into meat paste. "Fang Yuan, you will die terribly." Before dying, this elder cursed as he shouted. His blurred face turned clearer, turning into the academy elder's appearance. Fang Yuan sighed deeply to himself. During the dangerous moment earlier, he was distracted and his control over his emotions weakened. It caused him to fall deeper into the dream. This was also the reason why he did not kill the pursuers all along. The dream scenario could go on endlessly. It could be said to be infinite. Even if Fang Yuan killed the pursuers, new ones would appear. Even if they did not appear, there would be new disturbances. Especially when he engaged in life and death brawls, he had to concentrate. His emotions were more likely to influence his actions. There were all sorts of dreams. They involved drawing out a person's emotions, so that they could not distinguish reality and illusions, eventually sinking into the dream realm's entanglement, unable to wake up. Thankfully, Fang Yuan had his previous life's experiences. Even though his achievement in the field of dream realms was pitiful, it was enough to deal with this. After getting rid of the pursuers, Fang Yuan came to a hall. It was exactly the same as the area where he refined Bone Flesh Unity GU. Here, Fang Yuan finally refined his Dream Path GU worm. As the pursuers came, Fang Yuan laughed as he muttered to himself, "Time to wake up." As he said this, the scene in front of him vanished and turned into pure darkness. Fang Yuan gradually opened his eyes. The darkness faded and turned into the scenery of Danghun Palace, just like before he entered the dream. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan was sitting on the bed, his arms grabbing at a space. It was the same as the motions of his arms in the dream. In the dream, he was grabbing the newly refined Dream Path Mortal GU. Now that he was back in the real world, the Dream Path Mortal GU vanished. Fang Yuan was not shocked. He checked inside his mind. In his mind, a Dream Path Mortal GU was floating. The thoughts around it were like bubbles, popping and vanishing. The first Dream Path Mortal GU is finally done. Fang Yuan smiled in satisfaction. Dream Path was different from other paths. The Mortal GU did not have physical forms, they only existed in the mind. Only Dream Path Immortal GU could turn from immaterial to solid. Chapter 771 Lord Vice Envoy. Chapter 771, Lord Vice Envoy. "Scoundrel, where are you trying to run to?" Dragon Commander Yi Cha led 3 immortal zombies as he flew in the air. They were very fast, as if like lightning. The person they were chasing was none other than Feng Zhuzhe. He disguised himself as an immortal zombie and tried to mix into Northern Plains Zombie Alliance, but at the last moment, he was blocked by the Dalmark door at the discussion hall entrance. Because of this, the secret that he was not a Northern Plains immortal zombie was exposed, and Dragon Commander Yi Cha, one of the 3 leaders of Dark Flow Giant City, personally went after him. Suddenly, Feng Zhuzhe stopped his movements. He turned around and looked at the pursuers, smiling as he said, "Are you having a hard time chasing me? Why don't you stop? I just have a few questions. If you answer me truthfully, I might spare your lives." "What?" The immortal zombies flew into a rage. "Scoundrel, you will not be able to escape. You dared to scheme against us, worm." A brawny male immortal zombie said in a malicious tone. "There might be a trap." A female immortal zombie immediately used her investigative method, scanning the surroundings. Almost at the same time, the female immortal zombie's expression became stupefied. She screamed in shock. 3 Central Continent GU immortals appeared. Together with Feng Zhuzhe, they surrounded the immortal zombies in a circle. Feng Zhuzhe laughed lightly. He got rid of his disguise and restored his original appearance. His rank 7 GU immortal aura emanated with no room for doubt. The immortal zombies were all stirring anxiously. Rank 7 GU Immortals. Dragon Commander Yi Cha's face was grim. He tried to raise the morale. So what if it is an ambush? We both have 4 people, the numbers are the same. You are a rank 7 GU Immortal, but I am also rank 7. Do not think that immortal zombies have low battle strength, we just refuse to do unnecessary battles normally. You GU Immortals from another region are really daring, you dare to target Northern Plains Zombie Alliance. HMPH. That's right, don't think I'm afraid of you. A battle it will be. You are all challenging our zombie alliance, have you thought of the consequences? The immortal zombies spoke, they were united as one. Feng Juzhe clapped as he smiled. By now, your letter to request support should have reached Dark Flow Giant City through your blessed land, right? As he said that, the other 3 immortal zombies' facial expressions changed, even Dragon Commander Yi Cha's gaze flickered. Immortal zombies were in an awkward state, if they could avoid battle, they would try to do so. This place was not far away from Dark Flow Giant City, thus, the moment the Central Continent GU Immortals appeared, the 4 immortal zombies sent the information back. This was not because they were afraid of dying, but rather, why would they not ask for reinforcements if they could? The more people there were, the greater their advantage, even if they battled intensely, they would suffer fewer losses, and the benefits after the battle would be higher. Those who could become GU Immortals were astute people. Even a battle maniac would not fight brainlessly. If that was really the case, even if they became a GU Immortal, they would not live long. Feng Juzhe looked at their expressions and cupped his fist as he praised. Your esteemed alliance's Dalmark door is truly impressive, I am full of admiration. Even though I have heard rumors about it, I wanted to try it for myself. But the Dalmark door was left behind by a predecessor, now that I am here, I have the confidence of taking all your lives before your reinforcements arrive. I am sure that you have already noticed, even though this area seems normal, it is a battlefield killer move, isolating us from the outside world. I'm afraid your letter will not reach the Alliance after all. The 4 immortal zombies' expressions changed again. Feng Juzhe sighed, his tone became more gentle, he spoke with a sense of sincerity that could move people. I have a soul-searching method, but I do not have the intention to kill you. If you cooperate with me and speak the truth, I will let you off intact. HMPH, those are big words. Let's see your methods first. Dragon Commander Yi Cha interjected during Feng Juzhe's words. If he continued speaking, the morale that he had built up might fall apart. Other immortal zombies might give up, but Dragon Commander Yi Cha had a high status, he had his concerns, if he gave in without even trying to fight, his reputation would be ruined. How would he command his subordinates in the future? How would he remain as one of the 3 leaders of Dark Flow Giant City? Dragon Commander Yi Cha charged out first, the 3 immortal zombies behind him split up, towards his left, behind him, and to the right, instantly forming a simple diamond formation. Feng Juzhe's smile was unchanged, nevertheless he retreated in relaxed fashion. His opponents were too weak, he did not have the desire to fight. From his left and right, 2 Central Continent GU Immortals laughed and attacked from either side. An intense battle of 2 against 4 unfolded, the Central Continent GU Immortals were having the upper hand, expanding their advantage as time passed. Even though Dragon Commander Yi Cha furiously roared all the while and fought back bravely, he could not reverse the situation. But from start to finish, the 2 battling Central Continent GU Immortals did not lose control over the situation. After 15 minutes, Dragon Commander Yi Cha's face turned dark, he stopped the fighting. The other 3 immortal zombies had little battle intent remaining, they showed a faint expression of fear. What questions do you have? As long as they do not infringe on the core benefits of my zombie alliance, ask away. Dragon Commander Yi Cha said coldly. A wise man submits to circumstances, it is good that you have such an understanding. Feng Juzhe's smile became wider, he asked, I need to know about immortal zombie Sha Huang. Sha Huang, Dragon Commander Yi Cha was stunned. That immortal zombie who just joined. The female immortal zombie behind him said. Oh, Feng Juzhe's eyes flashed with joy, he asked earnestly, I would like to hear more. At almost the same time, another intense battle was coming to an end. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, Fairy Zhongyu and the others had injuries as they breathed heavily, in a rough state. HMPH, it was due to my inferior skills you captured me today, you are free to kill me at your own convenience. But if you want my immortal GU or immortal materials, you can keep dreaming. Trapped in the middle, Qin Bai Sheng, who failed to escape, was bathed in blood as he maintained his final stance. Fairy Zhongyu smiled bitterly as she shook her head. Lord Vice Envoy, we would not dare to take your life. We have said it already, you are our leader. HMPH. Qin Bai Sheng's face was cold as ice, he was very alert. Nonsense. In order to obtain my immortal GU and immortal materials, you are making up such a terrible lie. Do you think I am a child? Lord Vice Envoy, you are a member of Shadow Sect. The reason why you cannot remember things is because your soul was modified. Fairy Zhang Yu explained patiently. Bullshit, Qin Bai Sheng rebuked angrily. Even if something was done to my soul, it is precisely my own soul, how can I not detect anything wrong? When you make a lie, try to ensure it's convincing. Fairy Zhang Yu's smile became even more bitter. The black-robed GU Immortal said, Lord Vice Envoy, think of this from another angle. We are not stupid, why would we use this lie out of all excuses? The reason why your soul looks like it's unmodified is because we used our sect's supreme methods. Even a rank 9 GU Immortal cannot find any issues with it. But there is a problem, because the person himself cannot detect it due to the perfection of the modification. As time passes, he would become another person entirely. Lord, you had personally designed this plan from the beginning. I had warned you that this was dangerous. After all, Lord Envoy himself was a great example. But Lord was insistent on this. You said that to deceive the enemy, you need to deceive yourself. Inside this soul path immortal GU, your remnant soul is inside. As long as you fuse it into yourself, you will learn about the truth. Fairy Zhang Yu said, taking out a soul path immortal GU. Qin Bai Sheng looked at this immortal GU silently. Fairy Zhang Yu continued. Actually, Lord Vice Envoy, you must have noticed. In the battle earlier, we did not use any fatal methods, even when you injured us heavily, we did not have any intention to kill you. I'll give this immortal GU to you, you can inspect it yourself. The soul path immortal GU flew slowly, landing in front of Qin Bai Sheng. She really gave it to him. Shui Songzi, who was at the side, watched in shock. He Cheng was expressionless, he healed his injuries as he watched. Qin Bai Sheng was extremely alert, he used many methods to inspect it. After confirming that the immortal GU had no issues, he placed it in his hands and looked into it mentally. Soon, he realized that there really was a lump of soul inside this immortal GU. Furthermore, this lump of soul vaguely seemed to have a close relationship with him. Qin Bai Sheng hesitated for a moment before chuckling, he squeezed with his fingers and broke the immortal GU, scoundrels. This method was your trump card, right? Even using all my knowledge and experience, I could not see any flaws, but your attempt to trap me, even with your glib tongues, will end in failure. This, Shui Songzi shouted reflexively, he felt heartache. This was an immortal GU, he actually destroyed it. He Cheng was a little surprised. Towards Qin Bai Sheng's action, he couldn't help but feel a sense of admiration. This was absolute self-confidence that could allow this action of his. Even in a desperate situation, Qin Bai Sheng's confidence towards himself had never wavered. He Cheng thought to himself, if it were him, facing such words from his enemies, what would he choose to do? Lord Vice Envoy, you! The black-robed GU Immortal shouted, he became anxious, how will we salvage this now? No worry, Fairy Zhang Yu's lips curled up. As expected, Lord Vice Envoy understands yourself best. If this was any other place, when the immortal GU was destroyed, the soul would dissipate. But thankfully, we spent a lot of effort and moved you here. HMPH, where are we now? Qin Bai Sheng shouted as he asked. The surrounding fog was thick, as Fairy Zhang Yu waved her sleeves, wind blew as they scattered, revealing a mountain wall. Qin Bai Sheng, He Cheng, and Shui Songzi realized that they were in a valley now. Luopo Valley. Qin Bai Sheng took a few glances and his heart jumped. As expected of Lord Vice Envoy. Fairy Zhang Yu waved her sleeves, countless GU worms flew up from the valley, using an immense number of white lotus giant silkworm GU as the foundation, they formed a super GU formation. The GU formation activated, the force in it shocked He Lang Zi, He Cheng, and Shui Songzi. Ah! Qin Bai Sheng shouted in pain. After a dozen breaths of time, everything ended. Tens of GU worms, including a good number of immortal GU, flew up from the valley, returning to Qin Bai Sheng's immortal aperture like birds returning to their nest. Qin Bai Sheng regained his full strength. Finally, I am back. Qin Bai Sheng looked at his hands, he said in a low voice, his expression was cold. Subordinate pays respects to Lord Vice Envoy, congratulations to Lord for returning safely. Fairy Zhang Yu and the black-robed GU Immortal knelt on the ground, while He Cheng and Shui Songzi bowed slightly. Only He Lang Zi was still acting rebellious, crossing his arms and watching coldly. Qin Bai Sheng recalled everything that happened, snorting coldly, Feng Ju Jie, I will remember this, sooner or later, I will settle the score with you. Zhang Yu, you only found these people. Just them alone will not be able to take down Langya blessed land. I have performed poorly in this task. Fairy Zhang Yu rapidly lowered her head and admitted error. He Cheng and Shui Songzi's expressions changed, but He Langzi opened his mouth and showed his sharp teeth, growling, Qin Bai Sheng, never mind that you are acting so mysteriously, you actually dare to look down on me. Chapter 772 Silence and Sigh. Chapter 772, Silence and Sigh. Boom. Amidst an intense explosion, He Langzi was like a pile of mush as he collapsed in the huge pit. He tried to get up, but it was like there was a huge formless mountain pressing down on his body, the immense weight prevented him from moving at all. He Langzi's eyes were blood red, his expression was distorted, he growled unceasingly. Qin Bai Sheng's arms were lowered, he looked at the pit expressionlessly, at the struggling He Langzi. One move, just one move, he completely immobilized He Langzi. Shui Songzi's eyes were full of shock. He Cheng squinted, he hid the intense shock in his mind as he thought, what immortal killer move is this? Once he used it, He Langzi was unable to use a single killer move. He Langzi was completely immobilized, but his body is unharmed, this should be a soul path killer move. As for Fairy Zhang Yu, she showed no sign of surprise. Meanwhile, the mysterious black-robed Gu Immortal's face was covered by his hood, his expression could not be seen. If you have the guts, let me use my killer moves. Sneak attacking me from the start, how strong can you be? I refuse to accept this. He Langzi almost cracked his teeth, he was sprawled in the pit as he looked at Qin Bai Sheng, speaking with much difficulty and anger. Qin Bai Sheng snorted in disdain, he looked down at He Langzi as he smiled slightly, striking first gives you the advantage, does a demonic path Gu Immortal like you not know that? It seems that I overestimated you, in a real battle, who would care if you accept it or not? As long as the enemy is defeated, that is true ability. As he said this, Qin Bai Sheng paused, his expression turned cold. Right now, you are meat on the chopping block, you are at my mercy. You are to accept this whether you like it or not. I will give you 3 breaths of time, submit to me, or I will kill you right here. He Langzi did not hesitate, I submit. Qin Bai Sheng laughed, releasing the restraint. He Langzi felt the pressure lifting, he laughed fiendishly as he used his immortal killer move. At once, a piercing bright light shone out. The light came as quickly as it faded, soon after, a huge and menacing wolf appeared. The huge wolf opened its mouth, pouncing on Qin Bai Sheng. Qin Bai Sheng stood at the edge of the pit, his size was a huge contrast to the huge wolf. Before the huge wolf reached him, a strong burst of wind blew, causing several of the Gu Immortal's robes to flutter in the wind. He Langzi turned into a huge wolf, he attacked with rage, he had an imposing aura. Shui Songzi and He Cheng retreated, afraid of getting caught up in it. Qin Bai Sheng was very close to him, seeing the huge wolf approaching, he did not move, he showed a cold smile on his face, evidently, He Langzi's attack was not out of his expectations. Boom! Another loud bang entered everyone's ears. The huge wolf cried out, falling from the sky, its 4 paws were on the ground, a huge force was pressing down on the wolf's body. He Langzi was now just like earlier, completely immobilized again. In his huge wolf eyes, he showed unbelieving shock, he looked at Qin Bai Sheng as he shouted, this move again. What is this move called? It is not a big deal to tell you. Qin Bai Sheng laughed, this immortal killer move is called soul suppression. It uses the foundation of my soul to suppress your soul. Even though your body is strong, this move directly targets your soul. Without any immortal transformations that can resist soul path techniques, whatever beast you turn into cannot defeat me. He Langzi, I give you one final chance now, submit to me or die. Facing Qin Bai Sheng's immense power, He Langzi turned silent. He Cheng and Shui Songzi looked at each other, they sensed this series of events was anything but reassuring. Sha Huang, Feng Juzhe looked at Dragon Commander Yi Cha and the others who were leaving, his mouth muttering unendingly. The information we obtained this time has no practical use. Around Feng Juzhe, the central continent Gu Immortals were mumbling in unhappiness. No, we obtained a lot of information. Feng Juzhe chuckled. Firstly, this immortal zombie, Sha Huang, was able to enter the zombie alliance, it proves that he is a Northern Plains Gu Immortal. Even if he is not born here, he definitely ascended into an immortal here. Since he disguised himself, that means that his true identity cannot be known to others. Finally, he has a huge force or some great expert backing him up. This force might be the one which caused the collapse of 88 Truyong building. Lord Zhu Jie makes much sense. Towards Feng Juji's deduction, the other three immortals nodded in agreement. What should our actions be next? Feng Juzhe thought for a while before saying, we will meet up with Old Oracle's group and tell the new information to them, allowing them to do further deductions. Snowy Mountain Blessed Land, First Peak. What? Soft jade sand hasn't been fully collected yet. Old Ancestor Shui who looked at the list as he questioned unhappily. The person he was questioning was the owner of the fourth peak of Snowy Mountain, Li Peng Wang. Li Peng Wang, who had a fierce reputation and rebellious nature, lowered his head, saying politely, Old Ancestor, please appease your anger, I met with a group of Sky Chief beasts, I had to stop my collection. If I go to White Heaven again, I will definitely succeed. Go ahead and prepare. I am not targeting you, but this is the first round of immortal material collection, and you already had such a problem. How will you prove yourself and remain as the fourth peak's owner? I raised you to this spot personally, with this poor performance, what will the other peak heads think of me? Old Ancestor Shui who said a few more sentences before waving his sleeves, asking Li Peng Wang who was apologizing to leave. Li Peng Wang had bad luck, he was attacked by a Sky Chief beast group. He was heavily injured, but he still brought back a portion of the soft jade sand, it was already not easy. After Li Peng Wang left, a female immortal walked out from the hall behind. In the entirety of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land, only this female immortal could speak to Old Ancestor Shui who with such a tone. Old Ancestor Shui who looked over at the female immortal, his expression became more gentle. Wife, you do not know the crucial information in this, thus you think I am overly harsh on the peak heads. I searched Ma Hongyun's soul, I know all of this lad's history. Fortune rivaling Heaven Gu's power is truly fearsome. Do you think Li Peng Wang's encounter was coincidental? That is not the case. Not just him, the other peak heads also faced difficulty when collecting the materials. All this is due to Fortune rivaling Heaven affecting us secretly. Any acts that would harm its owner would cause a backlash from Fortune rivaling Heaven, suppressing our luck. There is such a thing? The female immortal, Lady Wan Shou, asked. According to the theory of luck, us GU immortals have extraordinary luck that protects us. But Fortune rivaling Heaven is the emperor of luck, thus, we are still affected by it. The longer this drags on, the more uncertainties would occur. In the end, not only would the GU refinement fail, we might even attract a huge disaster. Old Ancestor Shui who explained slowly. As the owner of the second peak, Lady Wan Shou understood now, she thought about it before frowning. If that is the case, wouldn't it be a huge obstacle when I refine GU? Lady Wan Shou was one of the four most famous refinement path GU immortals in Northern Plains. According to Old Ancestor Shui Hu's plan, she was supposed to use Ma Hongyun as the main material and refine Fortune rivaling Heaven GU at the end. Old Ancestor Shui Hu nodded. That is why this time, not only do we need to prepare several sets of GU refinement immortal materials, we also need to use other luck path immortal GU to protect our luck. Thankfully, Ma Hongyun is the main material, we saved a lot of immortal materials compared to refining Fortune rivaling Heaven from scratch. Even so, we prepared way too many immortal materials, we are almost going to exceed Snowy Mountain's capability. This refinement is way too important, we almost used up all of our life savings. Lady Wan Shou frowned as she said. Old Ancestor Shui Hu laughed, holding her waist, he consoled, wife, you're afraid that the refinement will fail. Lady Wan Shou nodded, looking at her husband, even a refinement path great grandmaster could fail, let alone me. Ha ha ha, just go ahead and refine it, wife, whether it succeeds or fails, I will accept the result without any hatred or anger. I have already used up all of my potential to reach this level, I have no confidence in my future calamities and tribulations. Fortune rivaling Heaven GU is my hope of breaking this situation, oh, hopefully, it will succeed in time. Old Ancestor Shui Hu said as he sighed. Fang Yuan, go and carry that box of goods. The caravan steward pointed at a box, shouting loudly. Yes, Fang Yuan replied, climbing onto a black-skinned fat beetle as he moved that wooden box from the very top. This lad actually has strength path cultivation, I totally missed it. Seeing Fang Yuan completing his mission easily, the caravan steward's eyes shined with a cold light. No, I already promised second young master, I cannot fail. Thinking so, the caravan steward raised his whip and lashed at Fang Yuan's back. With a loud cracking sound, Fang Yuan's shirt was torn open, a deep whip scar was imprinted on Fang Yuan's back. The intense pain assaulted his heart, Fang Yuan fell on the ground and shivered as blood quickly oozed out of his wound. In his previous life, in the caravan, because he rejected a certain young master's recruitment, he was heavily suppressed and humiliated, the memories were surfacing again. A sense of rage rose deep within Fang Yuan, but he quickly suppressed it. Why are you wasting time? Move quickly. The caravan steward was simply finding trouble with him, he scolded Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan had rank 3 cultivation level, but he did not use it. After all, with enough power, he would have killing intent. That was the dream realm's trap, luring him to attack so that his rage could be drawn out. After enduring for a day, facing difficulties from the steward, Fang Yuan went into the tent and refined his dream path mortal Gu. 5 scenes had passed in this dream realm, I am going to succeed. Fang Yuan looked at the Gu worm that was forming, feeling pleased. But during the night, just as he was refining the Gu, a group of beasts charged into the caravan's camp. Even with Fang Yuan's defensive methods, he could not defend himself from the assault of the beast group, he ended in failure. Fang Yuan opened his eyes, leaving the dream realm, he was still in Danghun Palace. Checking his immortal aperture, he found a message from Fairy Li Shan. It explained her current circumstances, old ancestor Shui who had ordered all of the peak heads to collect immortal materials. Fairy Li Shan had left Snowy Mountain Blessed Land and it was not safe to leave Heilulan alone. Thus, Fairy Li Shan urged Fang Yuan to hurry up, and she also told him about the situation in Northern Plains Zombie Alliance. Someone was investigating Shahuang's identity. They have investigated to this extent already. In the dim room, Fang Yuan frowned and sighed faintly. Chapter 773 Saving Heilulan. Chapter 773, Saving Heilulan. Originally, when Fang Yuan joined the auction, he had expected that there would be many clues left behind, it would give others many important clues to investigate. But the other party's investigation was faster than Fang Yuan's expectations. But compared to his gains, this was an inconsequential cost. Fang Yuan quickly focused his mind, using the Dream Realm Mortal Gu in his mind to enter the Dream Realm again. Ever since he refined the first Dream Realm Mortal Gu, because he had an advantage of using Dream Path Gu, his Dream Realm exploration became easier, and his efficiency became higher. Dream realms were deep, traps were everywhere. Because of Fang Yuan's experience from his previous life, he avoided most of the dangers. In his first 10 Dream Realm trips, he could refine 3 Dream Realm Mortal Gu. But as the number of Dream Path Mortal Gu increased, his success rate rose from 30% to 50%. 50% success rate was one of the highest in the present-day 5 regions. Because Dream Realms had just started manifesting, although most of the forces had some gains, they were starting from scratch, exploring step by step. Like this, he refined Gu endlessly without any rest. Half a month later in Immortal Blessed Land, Fang Yuan finally succeeded in refining enough Dream Path Mortal Gu. Using these Dream Path Mortal Gu, he used Unravel Mystery Immortal Gu as the core, managing to form an immortal killer move, Unravel Dream. With this trump card, Fang Yuan immediately informed Fairy Li Shan. Fairy Li Shan was out for the moment, collecting immortal materials for old ancestor Shuihu. When she heard Fang Yuan's news, she stopped her work, disregarding old ancestor Shuihu's chastisement, and returned to the 3rd peak. After seeing Fang Yuan, Fairy Li Shan did not continue to hide that secret, she told him about it. Before Su Xian died, she had left behind a familial emotion with her daughter, Heilulan. Precisely because of this familial emotion, Heilulan could use Su Xian's green grape immortal essence. This allowed Heilulan to use Immortal Gu in Imperial Court Blessed Land when she was immortal. When Fang Yuan heard this secret, he was not surprised. In truth, he had made many guesses towards the cause of Heilulan's ability to use Immortal Gu as immortal. Right now, his guess was confirmed, it was not out of Fang Yuan's expectations. Even so, Fang Yuan still frowned. This is bad. One should not be influenced by their emotions in a dream realm, otherwise they will sink deeper into it. With this familial emotion's influence, my immortal killer move's power will be greatly reduced. What do we do? Fairy Li Shan's expression changed, her worry was oozing on her face. She was not worried about Fang Yuan lying to her, because of the Snowy Mountain Alliance, both sides could not lie to each other. Fang Yuan did not lie, the killer move Unravel Dream had limited power. Right now, with her being deeper in Dream Realm, Unravel Dream killer move's power became more limited. Fang Yuan's expression was grim. Right now, we can only give it a try. Sigh, I had 70 to 80% confidence earlier, but now I only have 20 to 30%. All in all, this was too short of a time period. I have limited Dream Path Mortal Gu. 20 to 30%. What if you fail? Fairy Li Shan immediately asked. If I fail, my soul will take major damage. But Heilulan is the owner of the dream, she will still be deep in her dream without any damage. But there is a benefit. Once I use Unravel Dream, the dream realm will weaken towards Heilulan. This is a good thing without a drawback. Fang Yuan spoke the truth. That's good. Fairy Li Shan let out a breath of cloudy air, relieved. But suddenly, she realized her words were inappropriate. She turned to look at Fang Yuan apologetically, lost for words. Fang Yuan waved his hand, stopping Fairy Li Shan from speaking. Say no more, Fairy, I am not a petty person. The situation is urgent now, our identities are being searched. To prevent any issues from arising further, saving Heilulan is a top priority. Even if I fail, once I weaken the dream realm, it will help for the next time I enter it. Alright, enough talk, will you guard my surroundings? That is only natural. Fairy Li Shan thanked him courteously. Next, Fang Yuan sat beside Heilulan who was lying in her bed, activating the dream path Mortal GU in his mind. These Mortal GU were in his mind, arranging themselves into a mystical GU formation. As they activated one by one, the GU formation started. At the last step, Fang Yuan used his Green Grape Immortal Essence and activated Unravel Mystery Immortal GU. Unravel Mystery Immortal GU gave off a bright light in his immortal aperture. The light rushed up into his brain. After being converted by the Dream Path GU formation, it turned into a green-purple light. Fang Yuan opened his blood-red eyes, as a green-purple light flickered in his pupils. Immortal Killer Move, Unravel Dream. A loud sound rang out in Fang Yuan's mind. The scenery in front of him changed drastically. Fang Yuan was still sitting on the ground, but he was not in Fairy Li Shan's secret room, but in a hall instead. I am inside Heilulan's dream realm. Fang Yuan's body shook slightly. He had an understanding deep within himself. He diverted his gaze and looked around. A banquet was being held in the hall. The higher-ups of Su tribe were hosting a young GU master enthusiastically. Su tribe leader raised his cup, laughing loudly. Young master He Cheng, a toast to you. He Cheng was sitting at the front of the left row. He raised his cup with both hands. Thank you, Su tribe leader. Saying this, he raised his head and gulped the drink in one mouthful. The rank 3 elders around him were cheering at He Cheng for having such a candid attitude. He Cheng cupped his fists. His tone carried the aura of pride that a young genius was meant to have. Fang Yuan saw this and had a thought in his mind. Looking at himself, he was an elder of Su tribe in this dream realm. His aperture was full of Woodpath Mortal GU, there was quite a number. Fang Yuan just need one look to know that he was a rank 3 Woodpath healing GU master. Fang Yuan frowned. Woodpath was not his specialty, even more so a healing GU master. He sighed mentally, consoling himself. This is not my own dream realm. As an outsider, having rank 3 cultivation level is already quite good. But I wonder where Heilulan is. Just as he was thinking that, a female came out of the back of the hall, wearing an attendant's attire. She resembled Heilulan and had an incredibly beautiful appearance. But she was less dominating and more gentle. Her aura was quite different from Heilulan. It is Su Xian. Fang Yuan thought, recognizing this woman. Su tribe leader's cup was empty. Su Xian carried the wine and was about to pour it, but Su tribe leader chided her instead. You must be blind, go pour wine for our Su tribe's esteemed guest. Su Xian replied meekly, walking over to He Cheng's table. He Cheng's gaze was shining. He looked at Su Xian's face. Only until she finished pouring the wine did he jolt to awareness. Looking at Su Xian's retreating back, he stood up and asked, May I know your name, miss? Su Xian turned around, bowing as he lowered her head, replying softly, My name is Su Xian. Su Xian. He Cheng muttered. He only sat down after Su Xian entered the hall and left his vision. Ha ha ha. Su tribe leader saw all of this. He laughed. Xian is a girl I brought back from the battlefield many years ago. My wife had been raising her all these years, watching her grow up. Even though she has the status of an attendant, we treat her like our own daughter. Is that so? He Cheng muttered. He continued feasting, but the food felt flavorless. After the banquet ended, He Cheng was given a high-class guest room to stay in. Su tribe leader gathered the elders, discussing about the plan to kill He Cheng in the secret room. Tribe leader, are we really striking? They are He tribe, a super force that has GU immortals. An elder was worried. Su tribe leader's expression turned sharp. So what if they are He tribe? Once this deal is done, our entire tribe will move to Snowy Mountain Blessed Land to live. By then, there will not be the Imperial Court contest or the 10-year blizzard. He tribe is a super force, but Snowy Mountain Blessed Land is the headquarters of the demonic path. The elders were all fantasizing from these words. Su tribe leader looked around and saw everyone's hesitant expressions. He said harshly, "At this final moment, why are you hesitating? Even if we do nothing, or even snitch to He tribe, what can we do? If we offend Snowy Mountain, they will not let us off. Do not forget that our entire Su tribe's lives were saved by that fairy. If that fairy could save us so easily, she could also slaughter us all without difficulty." Being shocked by these words, the secret room became chilly. The elders saw this fact and finally faced reality. Tribe leader is right. We had already made that He Cheng lad drunk. I will strike now and take his head. The battle hall elder shouted. It will not be easy to kill He Cheng. Don't think that he is alone. There are hidden experts in the background protecting him. He tribe is a super force. While He Cheng has great talent, he will have no less than 5 people guarding him. Su tribe leader spoke about the information he had. Fang Yuan was among them. He understood what to say when he heard this. Then we will execute the orders of Lord Tribe Leader. Yes, Lord Tribe Leader, go ahead and give the orders. The elders were enthusiastic. All right, the tribe leader was overjoyed, giving out orders straight away. He had obviously thought this over. He almost said them out of reflex immediately. Because Fang Yuan was the medicine hall elder and was a healing GU master, he had weak offense and defense. He was ordered to deal with the strongest enemies by supporting 2 other GU masters. The moment he left the secret room, the dream realm changed again, entering the second scene. The night had a bright moon and strong, howling winds. A rank 3 He tribe GU master stood arrogantly, looking at the surrounding people with much anger. Your Su tribe is really daring. You dare to attack young master He Cheng of our tribe. Don't waste time speaking with him. Kill him first, then go and help the others. The 2 Su tribe elders were acting as offense and defense respectively, charging towards the He tribe GU master. Only Fang Yuan was left behind to back them up. I have not discovered He Lulan yet. It seems she is not here. Judging by this scene, I can only enter the 3rd scene after killing the GU master here. Fang Yuan thought about it as he activated his Woodpath GU worms, healing the GU masters on his side. Initially, the He tribe GU master was strong and had the upper hand. But after an intense battle, because of Fang Yuan's healing, the 2 sides mutually sustained injuries and entered a deadlock. Suddenly, the He tribe GU master shouted angrily, charging out while injured and attacking Fang Yuan. Oh no, stop him. Medicine hall elder, dodge. The 2 Su tribe GU masters were shocked and furious. They lost their bearings. Chapter 774 Unravel Dream Succeeds. Chapter 774, Unravel Dream Succeeds. Dream realms were dangerous. In dream realms, every time one got injured, their soul would suffer great damage. If their soul injuries were severe, they would feel sluggish, they would feel irritation within themselves, their emotions would be drawn out more easily, thus sinking deeper into the dream and be unable to free themselves. Seeing that the He tribe GU master was attacking, Su tribe's 2 GU masters' hearts sank. The He tribe GU master had strong fighting strength. Even with them joining forces, they could only fight with him evenly. As the medicine hall elder, Fang Yuan's strength was not high. The 2 Su tribe GU masters could only hope that Fang Yuan could last long enough until they could reinforce him. But the He tribe GU master had been plotting this for a while. Even if he had to risk an injury, he wanted to kill the healing GU master. He certainly had a strong offensive method left. Quickly dodge it. Persevere for a few breaths. We are coming. The He tribe GU master quickly shortened the distance between him and Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan remained unmoved, causing the 2 Su tribe GU masters to feel anxious. Fang Yuan was not scared at all. He laughed coldly. He dared to enter He Lulan's dream realm not because he was rash, but because he had prepared his trump card. This trump card was the Immortal killer move, Unravel Dream. Unravel. Fang Yuan stretched out his right hand, his palm facing the He tribe GU master. At the same time, his eyes flashed with a green-purple light. He tribe GU master's eyes shined with intense despair. Amidst his anger and shock, his body faded and his speed became slower. When he was a few steps away from Fang Yuan, he vanished into thin air. What method is this? The 2 Su tribe GU masters behind him were staring with shocked expressions. A killer move that I thought of. It is nothing important. Fang Yuan lowered his right arm, making a random excuse. Nothing important. One of the 2 GU masters stared with wide-opened eyes. Fang Yuan seemed like a desolate beast in his eyes. Killing him in one move. Had we known this, why would we fight to the death? Another GU master sighed. He had a complex tone. It was a joyful yet begrudged tone. All right, let's move quickly. Go and reinforce the others. The most important matter now is to kill He Chang. Fang Yuan reminded. Su tribe's 2 GU masters nodded. Now was not the time to talk about Fang Yuan's killer move. The three quickly moved and went to the deeper parts of the grassland. Fang Yuan followed the 2 GU masters of Su tribe, sprinting as the scene changed again. The night was dark, the sky had no moon, only several stars were shining. Fang Yuan and Su tribe leader, all 4 people, charged towards the direction of He Chang. I see him. After flipping over that mountain, we can reach He Chang. In their rush, an elder used his investigative GU worm as he spoke. I said long ago, he was hit by my tracking GU, no matter where he does, he will not be able to run away. Battle Hall Elder said proudly. Academy Elder died in battle, we must take revenge for her. Since it is a battle, there will be wins, losses, life and death. Academy Elder sacrificed herself for us, she will definitely be praised. On the other hand, Su Xian betrayed our tribe, helping that He Chang lad escape, this is an unforgivable crime. Saying this, Su tribe leader's expression was dark. Even though Su Xian is my goddaughter, in the name of justice, I cannot be selfish. When we capture her, we will punish her according to the tribe rules. Hearing this, the other elders let out a sigh of relief. They said, tribe leader is wise. Wise, he. A cold laugh came from the mound behind everyone. Who is it? Everyone stopped in their tracks. A figure slowly appeared on the mound. Su tribe leader and the others' hearts sank, it was an enemy. With just this hiding ability, it was incredible. If they did not show up intentionally, with just their investigative methods, they would not discover them. The question was, did they use a GU worm or a killer move? To think that there was still an expert like you protecting He Chang. Su tribe leader tried to stall for time, as several elders moved out, ascending up the mound in an encircling formation. The mysterious GU master looked around, but did not move, remaining at the same spot. Suddenly, the battle on the mound erupted. 2 other mysterious GU masters ambushed Su tribe's GU masters, striking ruthlessly and viciously. In one move, they heavily injured one, while lightly injuring the other. The Su tribe GU master who was heavily injured retreated quickly, while the lightly injured one was still fighting partway up the mound. There was a helper. Su tribe leader's heart jumped when he saw this, having a bad feeling in his heart. The 3 GU masters who suddenly appeared were experts, they had above-average battle strength. They probably made many arrangements when they ambushed at this location, it would be difficult to break through their obstruction and catch up to He Chang. He Lu Lan, Fang Yuan, as the healing GU master, was behind Su tribe leader, his eyes shined when he saw the GU master partway up the mound. The appearance of He Lu Lan's body was the one she had when she was He tribe leader, she had broad shoulders and a thick waist, she was rough and fierce. At this moment, she was fighting with the lightly injured Su tribe leader, they were engaged in fierce battle, her great battle strength was beating the opponent back. She was not like Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was an outsider in this dream realm. There was no identity allocated to him in the dream originally, thus, when he entered the dream, he needed to take the place of another character. But He Lu Lan was the owner of the dream, as the dream owner, she was part of the dream realm's creation. As for her appearance, this was how He Lu Lan saw herself in the depths of her heart. He Lu Lan, it's me, Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan did not hesitate, he shouted and went past Su tribe leader, running towards He Lu Lan. Medicine Hall Elder, Su tribe leader shouted in shock. Fang Yuan did not care about him, he rapidly ascended the mound. Scoundrel, so you are an imposter. No wonder you had such a strong killer move. A Su tribe GU master who was in the second scene with Fang Yuan exposed his identity. Fang Yuan, He Lu Lan heard this name and her expression was dazed, but ruthless light shined in her eyes soon afterwards. All of you, scram. Saying this, she waved her hand and shot a dark vortex killer move at Fang Yuan. At the same time, the other 2 mysterious GU masters also charged at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan snorted coldly, saying, unravel dream. Green-purple light shined in his body, be it the dark vortex or the 2 GU masters, they vanished into thin air within a few breaths of time. What killer move is this? Seeing this, all of the remaining GU masters stared with wide-opened eyes. He Lu Lan's gaze shined, she was very wary of Fang Yuan. She suddenly retreated, leaving this small mound. He Lu Lan, Fang Yuan shouted helplessly, chasing after her. He Lu Lan was the dream owner, since she was dreaming now, unravel dream could not affect her. Chase, we must kill He Chang. Su tribe leader and the others gritted their teeth, they had no other way now, they had to follow. He Cheng seemed to be injured, he was moving slowly not far away. Beside him, Su Xian'er was holding onto him, limping forward at a slow speed. Fang Yuan saw this and his heart jumped, this seemed like a trap. He Lulan quickly met up with He Cheng and Su Xian'er. Strong warrior, please leave with young master, I will hold them off. Su Xian'er did not recognize He Lulan, she shouted anxiously. You are a mere mortal woman, you have no Gu master cultivation, how can you block these Gu masters? Now that you have betrayed your tribe, you are dead meat. He Lulan had a complex expression when she looked at Su Xian'er. It is too late, strong warrior, quickly leave. As Fang Yuan got closer, Su Xian'er shouted as she turned back. He Lulan sighed, she stretched out her palm and slammed at He Cheng's head. With a loud smash, He Cheng's head broke apart like a watermelon, the brain matter flew everywhere. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. He Lulan raised her head, shouting, He Cheng, I finally killed you with my own hands. Nobody can stop me from taking your life. Ha 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 ha. Oh no, hearing He Lulan's shout, Fang Yuan's heart sank. At once, the dream realm's scene changed. In the hall, among the toasting of wine cups, Su tribe leader and He Cheng were drinking together, it was a lively atmosphere. Su tribe leader raised his cup, laughing loudly, young master He Cheng, a toast to you. He Cheng was sitting at the front of the left row, he raised his cup with both hands, thank you, Su tribe leader. This is a recurring dream, the three scenes are looping non-stop. Fang Yuan looked around, and inspected himself again. He found that he was no longer that medicine hall elder, he was a rank 2 metal path Gu master guard. He was standing at the door of the hall, guarding the door. As expected, from rank 3 to rank 2 peak stage, my strength fell. Fang Yuan's was bitter inside. This is bad, He Lulan has sunk into the dream, she had no reaction even after hearing my name. The more dream realm cycles that occur, the deeper we will sink into the dream. This dream had already pulled out He Lulan's killing intent and hatred towards her father. The more He Lulan wants to take revenge, the deeper she will sink into the dream realm. How can I wake her up? For a while, even Fang Yuan had no idea. 7 days and 7 nights later, in snowy mountain blessed land time. He Lulan, who was lying on the bed, opened her eyes with a shift in her aura. Her lost gaze became clearer, looking at the 8-armed immortal beside her bed, she understood in her heart, so it was a dream realm, I was saved by Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan opened his eyes forcefully, his aura was weak and his soul had suffered a huge blow, his mind was extremely drained. After dozens of rounds in He Lulan's dream realm, using the killer move Unravel Dream, he accumulated experience and failed repeatedly. After many attempts, Fang Yuan killed He Cheng before He Lulan could, ruining her goal. But the dream realm did not dissipate, He Lulan's hatred was not resolved, the dream realm changed again. Only until the 17th change, Fang Yuan roused He Lulan's consciousness, and she realized she was dreaming. When He Lulan understood this, Fang Yuan gained the initiative. After 8 more rounds, the two finally overcame the difficulties, breaking the dream realm and escaping. I am going back now, as for the compensation, Fairy Li Shan will explain it to you. Fang Yuan's soul was heavily injured, he did not dare to stay for long, even when he used fixed immortal travel, it was with much difficulty. Compensation, He Lulan was about to thank him, but when she heard these words, an ominous feeling rose in her heart. Chapter 775 Dream Path Pioneer. Chapter 775, Dream Path Pioneer. Western Desert. Gu Immortal Tang Miao's body shook, she opened her eyes and spat out a mouthful of blood. Another failure. Tang Miao's expression was pale as paper, compared to the injuries on her body, she felt even more despair towards the failure in exploring the dream realm. Tang Miao's soul was heavily injured, her head was spinning as her body felt heavy, she sighed in her heart, brother, I was useless and could not save you. Even after exploring the dream realm deeply, I could not find you. She shut her eyes, bitter tears flowed down her cheeks, forming 2 streams of tears. A moment later, the anxious Tang clan Gu immortals rushed over, coming to the secret room and standing in front of Tang Miao. Tang clan's first supreme elder, Tang Yang, frowned, he looked at Tang Miao who was sitting on the bed as he said heavily, I did not think that after spending so much effort to borrow the rank 7 emotion Gu from Shao tribe, the dream realm exploration still suffered a heavy loss. Sigh, dream realms in themselves are mystical and strange, moreover, this is thieving heaven demon Venerable's dream realm. Gu immortal Tang Lan sighed. The prophecy of 3 venerables had spread throughout the world, The information regarding Great Dream Immortal Venerable was known to not just Central Continent, but the super forces of the other 4 regions as well. Most of them were exploring dream realms, accumulating experience and developing new GU worms. As a super force of Western Desert, Tang Clan had accidentally discovered Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's dream realm many years ago. This discovery triggered the enthusiasm of Tang Clan in researching Dream Path. In order to explore this dream realm, Tang Clan's #1 genius GU Immortal, Tang Fangming, had taken this important mission from the clan, but he suffered a great loss and was still lost in the dream realm now. His sister, Tang Miao, in order to save her brother, had tried many times but failed repeatedly. This loss was even more severe. In order to explore the dream realm this time, Tang Clan spent a huge sum to borrow the Emotion Path Immortal GU and entrusted hope in her. The result was ice-cold disappointment. Although the Immortal GU was useful and could suppress my emotions, preventing the dream realm from drawing them out, this also made me an outsider. I was always in the outskirts of the dream's core. This time, I did not even manage to discover brother's identity. As she sat on the bed, Tang Miao tended to her injuries as she said solemnly. Sigh, it seems that Dream Path GU worms are needed to explore dream realms. But our Tang Clan has already explored the Dream Realm for 60 years, we have only created over a dozen Dream Realm Mortal GU, they are all rank 3 and below. More than half of them have extremely limited use. More specifically, only 4 or 5 are suited for Dream Realm exploration. The hardest part was the start, especially at this initial stage, it was extremely difficult. The pioneers were moving forward without certainty, every small step was a huge success. Regarding Dream Path, nobody had any experience, their knowledge was like sheets of blank paper. Once they passed this difficult initial step, and accumulated enough experience, their advantage would become larger, like a rolling snowball. Towards the middle to late stage, their advantage would be clear, the difficulty of researching Dream Path would be greatly reduced. In Fang Yuan's memories, there was a time when a new Dream Path GU worm was created every day, the varieties were as numerous as the stars in the sky. That was a time when Dream Path was flourishing like flowers in spring. In human history, each of these grand eras would lead to the birth of a supreme expert. According to the prophecy of 3 venerables, this grand expert should be Great Dream Immortal Venerable. But Fang Yuan did not live until Great Dream Immortal Venerable appeared. Speaking of which, at this initial stage, Tang Clan was already at the lead of the era. Even when compared to the 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent, their progress was among the highest. But the limitations of this era greatly restricted them. It was like a blind man walking down a path, without any clues, they could only explore step by step. After endless effort was spent, they only had a small result, over a dozen Dream Path Mortal GU. And among these results, the truly useful Dream Path Mortal GU were extremely few. For example, on Earth, a newly created experimental product would be very far from military usage, and even further from civilian use. Moreover, this innovation and exploration was not possible for every GU Immortal, one needed talent and aptitude. In this aspect, GU Immortals who only followed certain rules were useless, without a creative mind, they were inferior to even mortal GU Masters. Tang Clan had many GU Immortals, but only Tang Fangming was suited for this. These dozen or so Dream Path Mortal GU were mostly his creation. One could say that he was the main force behind Tang Clan's Dream Realm exploration. The regretful thing was, Tang Fangming was trapped in the Dream Realm now. Because of this, Tang Clan's progress had come to a halt. Tang Fangming's body was intact, the clan's GU Immortals were protecting it. But his soul that was in the Dream Realm had already left his body, it had vanished. Once one was trapped in the Dream Realm, their soul would weaken continuously, weakening until they died. The Tang Clan GU Immortals, especially Tang Miao, were extremely anxious, but there was nothing they could do. How is my brother now? After stabilizing her injuries, Tang Miao asked. The Supreme Elders looked at each other, one of them spoke with much difficulty, we can protect his body, but there are almost no guts GU in the market. We can't buy them any longer. Tang Miao frowned, asking anxiously, what is going on? The GU Immortal from earlier replied, you know that there is only one person selling guts GU, it is a monopoly. But not long ago, this seller stopped releasing the product into the market for an unknown reason. Even though there are still guts GU in the market, without the source supplier, it is drying out. Right now, the market cannot satisfy our demands. Guts GU was among the best methods to strengthen the soul, and had no drawbacks, and most importantly it took effectiveness quickly. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had once commented, this was the #1 soul-strengthening method in the world. He was absolutely right. For Tang Fangming, Guts Gu was the method to save his life. Without Guts Gu, Brother Will, Tang Miao was anxious, her tone was flustered as she said with a shred of hope, asking, why are they not selling it? Is there so little circulation in the market? This time, Tang Clan First Supreme Elder spoke. We had contacted the seller and promised huge profits, but there was no response. These last days, the Guts Gu that are preserving Tang Fangming's life are the remaining Guts Gu in the market that our tribe is purchasing with a huge sum. By now, the Guts Gu supply has dried out, barely any is left. Tang Miao heard this and her heart sank to rock bottom, her breathing became rough. Tang Clan had ordinary soul-strengthening methods. Earlier, before Guts Gu were sold in Treasure Yellow Heaven, they used these methods to preserve Tang Fangming's life. But now, Tang Fangming was too deep in the dream, his soul was weakening too quickly, these methods were becoming useless, the recovery could not keep up with his weakening. Without Guts Gu, Tang Fangming would die in his dream. What could they do? Tang Miao gritted her teeth, she frowned as she stared at these Gu immortals deeply. I don't care. If you guys didn't give brother that mission back then, he would not be like this. Now that he is this state, are you going to just watch? You can't say that. What do you mean just watch? These years, we in Tang Clan had spent so much effort and finances to preserve Tang Fangming's life. You are also one of us, you saw everything for yourself, Third Supreme Elder retorted. He listed many examples, they were not false, he had the evidence and proof of their actions. I don't care. Tang Miao's eyebrows were in a frown, her indigo color eyes were gathering rage, even though the surface was calm, it was deep like an abyss. Third Supreme Elder, say no more. First Supreme Elder stretched out his hand and stopped him. Third Supreme Elder stopped speaking, as First Supreme Elder sighed deeply while gazing at Tang Miao, who was extremely furious and stubborn. Tang Fangming and Tang Miao had a close sibling relationship, all of the Tang Clan Gu immortals knew this. This pair of siblings were once stripped of their statuses and mercilessly abandoned when they were young. The siblings went through much hardship and survived. Due to a fortuitous encounter, the brother, Tang Fangming, became a Gu immortal, while his sister, Tang Miao, became a rank 5 peak stage Gu master. The two charged back to Tang Clan to take revenge. The Tang Clan Gu immortals appeared and mediated with Tang Fangming. Eventually, they sacrificed a band of mortal higher-ups and managed to obtain the return of Tang Fangming. Compared to a Gu immortal, even if the sacrifice was a huge number of mortals, what was that worth? Tang Fangming understood the situation, he joined Tang Clan and used the clan's help to make his sister, Tang Miao, a Gu immortal. But Tang Miao was not as big-hearted as her brother, she still had negative preconceptions against Tang Clan, she had hidden resentment and indignation. Right now, when her brother's life was at stake, any sort of explanation was useless to her. Thus, First Supreme Elder said to Tang Miao with a sorrowful expression, I discussed this with the elders for 3 days and 3 nights, there are only 3 ways to help Fangming now. What 3 ways? Tang Miao's expression softened, she immediately asked. The best method is to find an ancient soul beast and kill it. By fusing its soul into Fangming's body, we can use killer moves to nourish his soul with that soul, allowing Fangming to survive this ordeal. The second best method is to use the blood path immortal Gu in the clan to use a method of sensing, forcibly retrieving Fangming's soul. As for the worst method, it is to find that lone cultivator, White Sea Shituo, for help. After First Supreme Elder finished his words, the bitter expression on his face intensified. Tang Miao listened and fell into deep silence. After a while, she laughed grimly, raising her head and sending them out. I need to think about this, elders, please go back first. As the Gu immortals left one by one, only Tang Miao was left. She laughed again, tears falling from her eyes, they were showing a cold, mocking expression. What best method? Once we use it, even if we succeed, the souls would fuse and you will be neither man nor beast. As for the second method, the chances of success are less than 30%, even if we do not fail, the soul called back would be greatly damaged, you might not even recognize me, your own sister. As for the last solution, there is some hope in that. Although that White Sea Shituo is a lone cultivator, he has incredible dream path proficiency, even brother praised him many times in private. But to ask him for help, we will have to pay a huge price. These old fogies are saying that only because they are concerned about the Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable inheritance that his siblings have in our hands. Indeed, only this inheritance can move White Sea Shituo. Thinking of this, Tang Miao wiped the tears on her face. Brother, I will not give up, even if I have to sacrifice this inheritance, I will save you. Tang Miao sat on her bed, even in the dim lighting, she still had the beauty of a flower. Chapter 776 Current Situation. Chapter 776, Current Situation. Central Continent, Hu Immortal Blessed Land, Dang Hun Palace. Fang Yuan opened his eyes slowly, his red eyes shining with a ruthless light. Inspecting his own body, Fang Yuan nodded in satisfaction, he could not help but praise. I've used it so many times already, these guts GU are truly the best in strengthening the soul. In Heilu Land's dream, I suffered such heavy soul injuries, yet I have already recovered in such a short time. He breathed in deeply, his mind was refreshed, his head was no longer as dizzy as the time when he was heavily injured. Land Spirit, where are you? Fang Yuan called out. Master, Master, have you recovered from your injuries already? At the next moment, the lively little Hu Immortal asked as she appeared before Fang Yuan, her crystal-like eyes were overflowing with intense concern. Fang Yuan, who had a green face and sharp fangs, nodded, tell me what happened when I was healing my injuries during this time period. Little Hu Immortal shook her head. There were many things that happened, but none were major matters. A moment later, after Little Hu Immortal reported everything, Fang Yuan remained seated in his bed, not speaking. His mind was working intensely as he tried to process the information. In Central Continent, Immortal Crane sect was busy trying to salvage the situation in the reincarnation battlefield. He Feng Yang was still busy trying to save his desolate beast-flying crane, Little Nine, moving about all over the region. The 10 great ancient sects each had their restrictions, they mutually restrained and balanced each other. The person currently in the limelight was Myriad Dragon Doc's vicious lightning fiend. After coming out of his closed cultivation, he used the immortal killer move Lightning Deity and challenged a lot of people. Right now, he had battled more than 20 GU immortals, he only had 1 draw and 1 loss, with such amazing results, his reputation was soaring. Many meddlesome GU immortals were already comparing him with Immortal Monkey King Shilei. These people did not have good intentions, because in accordance with Shilei's nature as a battle maniac, he would find vicious lightning fiend and engage in a huge battle with him. But Shilei gave no response. The Central Continent GU immortals were troubled. Why did Immortal Monkey King's behavior change? Even Combat Immortal sect had become much quieter recently. The other 9 sects found something wrong, they tried to investigate secretly. Fang Yuan knew long ago, Shilei discovered Starry Sky Grotto Heaven, and inside the Grotto Heaven, there was star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm. Right now, they must be attacking the Grotto Heaven at full force. Thinking of star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm, Fang Yuan was moved. Earlier, he had no methods against it, he could only escape pitifully from star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm. But now that he had the immortal killer move Unravel Dream, this was the supreme weapon to deal with the dream realm. During this period of time, dream path exploration is still in its initial stages. Any super force is still stuck at the stage of starting up, every step is extremely difficult, it is a path filled with thorns. The best methods are naturally Dream Path Immortal GU, but the number of these Dream Path Immortal GU could probably be counted on one's hands. Meanwhile, I have a Dream Path Immortal killer move, even without a Dream Path Immortal GU, I am far ahead of these forces. Fang Yuan was getting excited. Unravel Dream was effective in dealing with dream realms. Each time he used it, Fang Yuan gained a huge advantage. For example, just earlier, Fang Yuan saved Heilu Lan. After unraveling her dream realm, he obtained a lot of Heilu Lan's understanding towards Strength Path. This added to his Strength Path foundation, causing it to become more abundant. There is always something to learn from someone else, especially when Heilu Lan had the great strength true martial physique. She was a naturally formed Strength Path Immortal Seed, her natural talent in Strength Path was beyond Fang Yuan's reach. A portion of her Strength Path understanding was fully assimilated by Fang Yuan, allowing him to have great gains. If I can unravel Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm, my Wisdom Path attainment will improve greatly. Even without a complete Wisdom Path inheritance, I might be able to create my own one. Fang Yuan thought. Heilu Lan was only a newly advanced Strength Path GU Immortal, but Fang Yuan had great gains after unraveling her dream. If he could unravel Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm, Fang Yuan's Wisdom Path attainment would shoot up like a rocket. However, to snatch the Immortal Venerable's dream realm from Combat Immortal sect is too dangerous, it is nearly impossible. Fang Yuan shook his head. To unravel a dream, he had to be in Starry Sky Grotto Heaven, and get close to that star constellation dream realm. If he did that, he would certainly be discovered. Based on his current battle strength, even if it increased, he would not be Xilei's match. Tai Bai Yunsheng and He Lu Lan, compared to the rest of Combat Immortal sect, were an even greater mismatch. Unless I have Tang Clan of Western Desert's immortal killer move, Steel Dream. I would be able to steal the dream realm directly from the grotto heaven, moving it elsewhere and slowly dealing with it, devouring it at my own pace. In the 500 years of Fang Yuan's previous life, Western Desert's Tang Clan was the super force with the deepest foundation in Dream Path among the 5 regions. Originally, Tang Clan was not outstanding among the dozen or so super forces in Western Desert, it was at a middle to lower tier. But based on the rise of Dream Path, during the 5 regions' chaotic war, Tang Clan became Western Desert's strongest force. Even among the 5 regions, it was a power that could stand tall, creating what Western Desert people called the Great Era of Tang. Central Continent's current situation, even though there was slight turbulence, was still peaceful. Even though Fang Yuan really desired Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm, his battle strength was still much lower than Combat Immortal sect, he could only watch covetously for now. Fortunately, at the moment, Dream Path was still in its initial stages of exploration. Even if Combat Immortal sect captured Starry Sky Grotto Heaven, they would not be able to do anything to Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm. To make a comparison, this was like a juicy piece of meat, but it was submerged in boiling hot oil. Even though Combat Immortal sect knew that it was delicious, they could only watch for now, they could not eat it yet. Compared to Central Continent, Fang Yuan was more concerned about Northern Plains' situation. He had committed a huge crime, it was still being investigated. The other party had great strength and plenty of methods. Soon after the auction ended, they discovered Fang Yuan's identity of Sha Huang. They were not simple, it was giving Fang Yuan huge mental pressure. But when hearing Little Hu Immortal's report, he learned that Northern Plains' situation was much more calm than Central Continent. Almost all of the GU Immortals who attended the auction were trying to assimilate their gains from it, converting them into their own strength. Old Ancestor Shui, who mobilized the #1 demonic force in Northern Plains, the full power of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land, to join in the plan to refine rank 8 fortune rivaling Heaven Immortal GU, it was well known in Northern Plains GU Immortal world already. As the #1 Righteous Refinement Path GU Immortal in Northern Plains, Yao Huang had deepened his collaboration with Zombie Alliance. This collaboration caused Zombie Alliance's status in Northern Plains to rise up rapidly. Qin Bai Sheng vanished without a trace, and Prince Feng Xian, who Fang Yuan was most concerned about, also made no movements. This calm situation did not lower Fang Yuan's unease, he was getting increasingly worried. The other party would certainly not let him go. Once his identity was exposed, be it Central Continent or Northern Plains GU Immortal World, they would want to kill Fang Yuan, He Lu Lan and the others. Since it involved the huge benefits of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's inheritance, even if Fang Yuan escaped to Eastern Sea or Western Desert, they would definitely pursue him, he would have no peace. The other party is in the dark, I wonder if it is Central Continent or Northern Plains investigating me. Fang Yuan sighed mentally. In this period of time, he had no solutions, he could only deal with the situation by continuing with his former plans. The only consolation was that he had made the right move by allying with Fairy Li Shan. With Fairy Li Shan's information network, Fang Yuan could learn about any changes in Northern Plains' situation rapidly. With an advantage in information, he could deal with anything that happens. Ultimately, the issue is that I am too weak. If I was a rank 8 GU Immortal, I would be able to protect myself. Even if Giant Sun's true inheritance was exposed to the world, so what? Oh, that is not right. Fang Yuan thought about the rank 9 Wisdom GU and frowned. If news that he had Wisdom GU leaked out, even if he was a rank 8, he might have rank 8 GU Immortals attacking him from all sides. No matter what, the urgent matter now is to absorb my gains from the auction, rapidly raising my strength, that is how I can deal with future situations. A few days later, Fang Yuan left the secret room in an unkempt state, but he had a joyous expression. He expanded his wings and flew into the sky. The large bat wings on his back had reached 3 pairs. It gave him a strong flying ability, his speed rose rapidly. During the auction, he obtained a bat desolate beast's corpse. Fang Yuan's killer move, true solid bat wings, had finally been completed. Iron Crown Eagle Strength. While flying, he suddenly unleashed the Iron Crown Eagle Strength. Suddenly, Fang Yuan's speed rose drastically. Earlier, he was like a stream of black smoke, but now he was like a flash of lightning. At once, Fang Yuan's vision became blurry, the intense winds blew at him, like they were sharp daggers. The Iron Crown Eagle Strength lasted for a short time before his speed fell back to the original level. Fang Yuan's vision cleared. Looking back, he had moved 3 li from his original spot. Flying 3 li in a flash. Fang Yuan was pleased, but yet not pleased. He was pleased because this speed was really fast, it was on par with some movement immortal killer moves. He was not pleased because the Iron Crown Eagle strength was not controlled at will, he did not know when he could summon it. Unless my second core GU, all-out effort GU, is refined all the way up to immortal GU level, at that point, I will be able to unleash the Iron Crown Eagle strength at will. Fang Yuan thought about this and sighed. His all-out effort GU was still at rank 4. Fang Yuan had solid finances now, but he did not have the corresponding GU recipe. Not long ago, he had asked Lang Ya Land Spirit, the answer was partly good and partly worrisome. Lang Ya Land Spirit indeed had all-out effort GU's recipes, from rank 1 to 5, he had them all. But Lang Ya Land Spirit refused to sell GU recipes. Even if Fang Yuan tried his best to convince him, there was no result. Fang Yuan intended to use a Dream Path Mortal GU recipe to trade for it. But Lang Ya Land Spirit had become more astute, he did not want to trade it for any GU recipe, he gave Fang Yuan a mission. This mission required Fang Yuan to go into immemorial Purple Heaven, to search for a rank 6 immortal material, poisonous flowers, and collect their petals. Fang Yuan was so busy currently, he had no time for that. With strong foes pressuring him, if he exposed his identity accidentally, he would become a fugitive, the entire world would hunt him down. Fang Yuan did not dare to relax, he was trying his best to raise his battle strength, how could he go search for poisonous flowers? Furthermore, immemorial Purple Heaven was already destroyed. Even the fragment worlds was hard to find. Even if he found one, it was extremely dangerous, desolate beasts and desolate plants were very common. Fang Yuan's current battle strength was insufficient. If he forced himself into conducting an exploration, it would simply be a difficult and unrewarding task. Chapter 777 Deadlock. Chapter 777, Deadlock. This matter gave Fang Yuan a reminder. Even in regards to land spirits, they were not to be underestimated, they could grow with time, gaining wisdom or experience. Ever since Lang Ya Land Spirit met Fang Yuan, he had suffered minor disadvantages many times, especially in this option, the 4 to 6 profit ratio was a huge loss to Lang Ya Land Spirit. As the saying goes, suffering a loss is a blessing, this was shown in Lang Ya Land Spirit, he had become more intelligent. Lang Ya Land Spirit thought about it hard, analyzing his relationship with Fang Yuan, he finally recognized their individual strengths and weaknesses. By using Fang Yuan's weakness in GU recipes, he could regain the upper hand when working together with Fang Yuan. He was, after all, the obsession of long-hair ancestor after he died. This time, Fang Yuan's neck was grasped by Lang Ya Land Spirit, it was a terrible feeling. But Fang Yuan could do nothing to Lang Ya Blessed Land. Small advantages came at a price. Fang Yuan obtained such a profit from selling the GU immortal captives in the auction, the backlash was showing up now, his mouth was filled with a bitter taste. Landing on the peak of Danghun Mountain, Fang Yuan retracted his 3 pairs of bat wings as he stood on the spot, looking into the distance as he thought. All-out effort GU is just a small setback, it is not an immortal GU recipe anyway, even if I cannot get it, with my strength path attainment and wisdom GU's help, I will be able to deduce the mortal GU recipe. The problem is that it would use a lot of time and energy, at this crucial time, I cannot deduce GU recipes if I want to raise my battle strength. Actually, even if Fang Yuan had a complete all-out effort immortal GU recipe, he had no time to refine it. The real problem was regarding He Lu Lan. The compensation that Fang Yuan asked for after saving her was self-strength immortal GU. After He Lu Lan heard about it from Fairy Li Shan, she was so angry she jumped up from her bed. Self-strength immortal GU was her vital immortal GU, it was the most important core in her self-strength phantom killer move. Fang Yuan asking for this GU was simply crippling her foundation. Without self-strength immortal GU, He Lu Lan's battle strength would fall drastically. Not only this, self-strength immortal GU was the memento that her mother, Su Xian left behind for her. To He Lu Lan, it was also a sentimental item that she could not give up. But she, Fang Yuan and Fairy Li Shan had the Snowy Mountain Alliance. In order to save He Lu Lan earlier, Fairy Li Shan had represented her and signed an agreement with Fang Yuan, she could not go back on it. Unless He Lu Lan had a heart of stone and ignored Fairy Li Shan's life, forcefully keeping self-strength immortal GU. In that situation, there was nothing Fang Yuan could do. After all, the agreement was not signed by He Lu Lan herself. But how could He Lu Lan force herself to endanger Fairy Li Shan? Fairy Li Shan was the blood-related sister of her mother, Su Xian. When He Lulan was still immortal, Fairy Li Shan took great care of her. After she became an immortal, Fairy Li Shan nurtured He Lulan without regard for the cost, treating her like her own child. He Lulan was determined to exact revenge, but at the same time, she felt great gratitude, love, and admiration for this aunt. Fang Yuan was using this key point when he formed the agreement with Fairy Li Shan. He was not afraid that she would go back on this. Regarding her vital immortal Gu, He Lulan did not give up easily. Ever since she learned about it, she had tried negotiating with Fang Yuan over 10 times. She threatened and screamed, begged and gave softly spoken requests, talked about the benefits and drawbacks, and tried coercing him with the bigger picture. All sorts of methods were used to try and keep her self-strength immortal Gu. But would Fang Yuan give in? Self-strength immortal Gu was He Lulan's most important core, but to Fang Yuan, it was a similar situation. Fang Yuan's trump card was the immortal killer move, Myriad Self. Self-strength immortal Gu was extremely compatible with it. It was not like pulling mountain or pulling water, in which they needed him to deduce and modify the killer move. He Lulan refined self-strength immortal Gu during her ascension. When Fang Yuan heard of this, he felt immense regret and pity. Immortal Gu were unique. Since He Lulan had this Gu, as her ally, there was no way Fang Yuan could obtain it. But the tides of fortune were unpredictable. Heaven worked in mysterious ways. He Lulan wanted to take revenge and did her best to raise her cultivation level. In the end, she fell into a dream realm and gave Fang Yuan a chance. Fang Yuan was devious and heartless. He was like a shark that smelled blood. He bit down hard. Even if they were allies, so what? His own strength was the most important matter. Others were unreliable. Only one's own self was to be considered the most reliable. Fang Yuan had a firm attitude. He Lulan made many attempts but failed in all of them. In her anger, she purposely stalled the handing over of self-strength immortal Gu and refused to use strength chi immortal Gu to create the airsac Gu for Fang Yuan. He Lulan's action was very ruthless. This act gave Fang Yuan huge pressure. If He Lulan did not use strength chi immortal Gu, Fang Yuan would have no airsac Gu. Without airsac Gu, he could not sell guts Gu. Earlier, in order to heal himself, Fang Yuan stopped the guts Gu trade, using it for himself. Without this revenue, and with the 2 stone nests refining Gu continuously, his funds had dried up. He had less than 100 immortal essence stones left. To break through He Lulan's restrictions, Fang Yuan could use wisdom Gu to deduce a new airsac Gu recipe. But this had problems too. Fang Yuan had already sold Delight in Water and Mountain Immortal Gu in the auction. He was using Malicious Thought Gu as a substitute. The quantity was still low. Even if he had an entire stone nest of hairy men, refining Malicious Thought Gu unendingly, under the light of wisdom, the expenditure of thoughts was too high. Fang Yuan had some early expectations of this kind of situation. His original solution was to raise the scale of production. But to raise the production and build the 3rd or even 4th stone nest, he would need funds. Hairy men, especially those slaves skilled in refining Gu, were priced even higher. Fang Yuan had insufficient funds. He could not raise his production. The problem went back all the way to the first issue. It seemed to be a deadlock. Fang Yuan went to find Lang Yalan's spirit and tried to use immortal materials to lure him into refining Malicious Thought Gu using the hairy men in his blessed land. But Lang Yalan's spirit rejected him. His request remained the same, for Fang Yuan to go into immemorial purple heaven, to search for the rank 6 immortal material, poisonous flowers, and collect their petals. It seemed that this immortal material was very important to Lang Yalan's spirit. Thus, Fang Yuan could not resolve the situation through this. With airsac Gu restricted, there was no guts Gu trade. The sale of guts Gu was Fang Yuan's top source of revenue. Without funds, there was no Malicious Thought Gu, so Fang Yuan could not use the light of wisdom. This greatly affected Fang Yuan in the assimilation of his loot, slowing the plan to raise his battle strength. Fang Yuan was fully aware that He Lulan was attempting to compel him, forcing him into giving up self-strength immortal Gu and choosing strength chi immortal Gu. HMPH, He Lulan, I'd like to see who can outlast the other. Fang Yuan snickered, focusing his mind. He summoned to Immortal Land Spirit and went to Dang Hun Palace again. Sitting on the bed, he shut his eyes and went into the dream realm. Earlier, to save He Lulan, Fang Yuan used the immortal killer move Unravel Dream. It expended a lot of Dream Path Mortal Gu. In order to activate Unravel Dream Killer move again, he had to go into a dream to refine Dream Path Mortal Gu. At the same time, at a secret hideout in Northern Plains. The Wisdom Path GU Immortal, old oracle from Ancient Soul Sect, one of the 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent, walked out of the secret room slowly. He looked exhausted, trying to deduce the culprit behind the collapse of Truyong building had left him in deep fatigue. His sideburns had turned white, his young face had become much older and wrinkled. How was it? Hong Kaiming and the other immortals saw that he was outside and quickly approached him with concerned expressions. Old Oracle knew that they were not concerned about him, but the results of his deduction. There were many crucial pieces of evidence deduced this time, especially when Zhao Lianyun's soul was searched and they witnessed the scenes that happened in Imperial Court Blessed Land. It was of great help for his deduction. But Old Oracle shook his head, having a gloomy expression. My attainment were insufficient, I have disappointed all of you. How could this be? You could not deduce anything even at this stage. The culprit is not simple, they are hiding too deeply. It seems we still need to collect information. The immortals were all elites of their sects. After slight disappointment, they quickly accepted the results and started to discuss their future plans. After some discussion, Feng Zhuzhe spoke. Right now, we have no clear target, we should split up and do our own missions. It was not easy to come to Northern Plains from Central Continent. I am sure you all have private matters aside from investigating the truth. For the time being, while you settle your private affairs, try to collect more information. Feng Zhuzhe's reputation was the highest, nobody dared to question him. Right now, with no clear target, everyone had to settle their own matters. They quickly split up and left, in order to resolve the missions from their respective sects. Old Oracle and Feng Zhuzhe stayed behind. Lord Zhuzhe, Old Oracle was hesitant. In truth, he had made a huge breakthrough this time in his deduction, but after telling Feng Zhuzhe, the latter ordered that the information was to be concealed. That was why Old Oracle lied to everyone earlier, telling them that his deduction failed. Feng Zhuzhe looked at him and smiled with deep meaning. The culprit who caused the collapse of 88 Truyong building was already most likely to be from the 10 great sects of Central Continent. Now that you obtained the deduction that the culprit is a member of the 10 sects of Central Continent, I allowed the rest to act freely. In the case that a mistake is made in concealing it, we would be able to find the culprit. But the result of my deduction could be wrong from the start. Old Oracle lowered his head. Don't worry, if it is really a traitor in the 10 sects, after causing such a huge incident, no matter how they try to conceal it, there are bound to be clues left behind. Feng Zhuzhe consoled him, while also seemingly giving a warning. Old Oracle raised his head, his gaze was clear as he stared at Feng Zhuzhe. Lord Zhuzhe is hiding this from the other GU immortals, do you not suspect my sect? Feng Zhuzhe laughed heartily, he frankly admitted, honestly speaking, I naturally was suspicious since long ago. You can go now, I am sure Ancient Soul Sect gave you secret missions as well. Feng Zhuzhe's tone was that of one who had confidence in grasping the entire situation. Old Oracle's heart shook, he lowered his head, that is indeed the case, I will leave now. Saying this, his body was like lightning as he vanished into the sky. Only Feng Zhuzhe was left in his original spot, his gaze was dark and eerie, and his expression was calm, it was impossible to tell what he was thinking. Chapter 778 Immortal GU changes owner. Chapter 778, Immortal GU changes owner. More than 10 days later, in Hu Immortal Blessed Land. Time Luck Immortal GU was silently floating above Fang Yuan's head, it was moving from side to side. Time Luck Immortal GU was like a jade centipede, it was pale green and was swimming about in the area above Fang Yuan's head, coiling around and giving off a watery sheen. Fang Yuan was injecting green grape immortal essence into it, while inspecting the Inch of Time GU worms in his immortal aperture. Earlier, he had made an agreement with Langya Land Spirit, asking him to refine Inch of Time in bulk using the hairy men. The time flow in Langya Blessed Land was faster than Hu Immortal Blessed Land, the quality of the hairy men was much higher, it could be considered of the highest grade. Thus, after Fang Yuan paid with immortal materials, a large number of Inch of Time GU, like a small golden mountain, accumulated in Fang Yuan's immortal aperture. As the saying went, time was money, an inch of time was an inch of gold. Although Inch of Time GU was immortal GU, it had an appearance like that of a gold bar. The higher the rank of Inch of Time GU, the longer and thicker the gold bar. But at this moment, when Fang Yuan activated Time Luck Immortal GU, Inch of Time GU was used up rapidly. The gold mountain had vanished completely in just a few breaths of time. Without Inch of Time's support, the Time Luck Immortal GU above his head stopped activating. Fang Yuan sighed in regret. It seems that it is quite tough to use Inch of Time to activate Time Luck Immortal GU in the place of lifespan. I only activated it for such a short period of time, I gained almost no additional luck. Like what Fairy Li Shan said earlier, activating Time Luck Immortal GU involved expending Immortal Essence and the GU Immortal's lifespan to gain a boost in luck. But Fang Yuan had barely any lifespan left, how could he waste it so easily? During the final moments of Imperial Court Blessed Lands battle, when he was forced to become an immortal zombie, he was already extremely old. He had not used any lifespan GU before, thus he only had 100 years of lifespan. Right now, he had only around 10 years or less remaining. If one day, he could get rid of his immortal zombie body and become a living person again, his lifespan would not change. That is to say, even if I recover, my body would be extremely old, that is a problem. Before that, I need to find lifespan GU and use it on myself. Fang Yuan thought about this and couldn't help but frown. Lifespan GU were hard to find, they were extremely precious. Ordinary GU immortals would not sell them when they were obtained. In the Northern Plains auction earlier, not a single lifespan GU was sold. Lifespan GU were only mortal GU, the conditions for their production were greatly variable, for GU immortals to find lifespan GU almost meant relying on luck. In many situations, lifespan GU were often obtained by mortal GU masters, GU immortals could not control where they appeared. Fang Yuan being able to find lifespan GU and extend his lifespan by several hundred years in his previous life was due to this. Up to this point, the best way to search for lifespan GU would have been through using 88 Truyong building. Unfortunately, I only obtained one lifespan GU in this immortal GU house, and Tai Bai Yunsheng already used it. It is basically impossible to rebuild 88 Truyong building now. Fang Yuan's thoughts moved, Time Luck Immortal GU turned into a flash of light, entering his immortal aperture. Even though his immortal aperture had turned into a dead land, once in a while, a small amount would break off, but for GU worms, there was still a lot of space. Time Luck Immortal GU eventually floated onto another, Gold Mountain. This second, Gold Mountain was naturally made up of Inch of Time GU. Fang Yuan had obtained a huge amount of Inch of Time GU from Langya Land Spirit, they had piled into two mountains. One had already been expended earlier. The last remaining one was here. Even though the test result previously was not satisfactory, it gave Fang Yuan a lot of precious and useful inspiration. Earlier, I was only using Inch of Time and Time Luck Immortal GU alone. If I add in other GU worms, or even turn it into an immortal killer move, the expenditure of Inch of Time GU might be greatly reduced, allowing it to become more feasible and desirable. Unfortunately, even though the light of wisdom gives me unlimited inspiration, this deduction involves time path, I have no attainment in it. With such a restriction, Fang Yuan could only keep his thoughts in mind for now rather than making an attempt. He still lacked Dream Path Mortal GU, Fang Yuan was not going to waste any more time. After regulating his breathing for a few moments, he remained seated on his bed and closed his eyes, entering his dream realm. After going through 3 dream realms, he refined 2 Dream Path Mortal GU, storing them in his mind. Such a success rate was much higher compared to when he initially started. But during the 3rd refinement, Fang Yuan failed and his soul was injured. Dream realms themselves were risky, not to mention refining GU in a dream. If I lose my focus, I will fall into the dream's trap. Thankfully, Guts GU can strengthen my soul. Fang Yuan felt relieved, he opened his eyes and walked out of Danghun Palace. On Danghun Mountain, there were Guts GU everywhere. Fang Yuan used a few and healed the injuries to his soul. Just as he was about to return and continue refining Dream Path Mortal GU, his expression changed, as a letter was sent into his immortal aperture using Moving Perspective Cup GU. Fang Yuan looked at it and his face flashed with joy. He immediately stopped the plan of refining GU, he chose a scenic location on Danghun Mountain and sat down, taking out an elephant's leg and using fire GU to roast it. A moment later, a figure flew over from the southeast direction. It was a female immortal, with black hair and black pupils, she had a divine beauty and a dominating aura, it was He Lulan. He Lulan flew in the air, landing before Fang Yuan with a cold expression. She looked at the elephant leg on Fang Yuan's hand, recognizing that it was the flesh and bones of a desolate beast, drought elephant, she said sarcastically, so the immortal materials in your hands can be wasted to this degree already. Fang Yuan laughed heartily, he looked at He Lulan before his gaze landed back onto the elephant leg. After a short while, because of the high heat, the elephant leg was half cooked already, it was oozing with fragrance. It has been a while, Fairy Lulan, please take a seat. Fang Yuan said politely. He Lulan snorted, remaining standing, unmoving as she emitted a faint anger. Fang Yuan found it funny. although she was a formidable character, she was still a young woman. But if he was in her place, if someone wanted his spring-autumn cicada, would he give it up? Perhaps he might have already fallen out with the person and fought already. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan mentally alerted himself. He Lulan's mistake was right in front of him, he could not ignore it. He Lulan desperately wanted to take revenge, she took risks in undergoing tribulations, in the end, she was careless and almost died. Right now, she could not stall any longer, she had to hand self-strength Immortal Gu over. By this stage, one could not advance prematurely and underestimate risks. A Gu Immortal's calamities and tribulations, are they so easy to pass? Even if one was overflowing with talent, and had an arrogant nature, they had to admit the facts. He Lulan was a youngster who was not afraid of death, by charging forward blindly, she had suffered a loss, now she would start becoming careful. But it was thanks to her that I could obtain self-strength Immortal Gu, right? Fang Yuan thought about this and laughed in his heart, putting the elephant leg in front of his mouth as he bit off a huge chunk, eating it with pleasure. He Lulan saw this and snickered. You are already an immortal zombie, you have no sense of taste. Now that there is no hope of restoring your body again, you are doing this to reminisce your past. Fang Yuan said slowly and calmly, Fairy Lulan, you did not come here to see me eat meat, right? He Lulan's expression was still as water, there was anger in her tone as she said with deep meaning, you are so gluttonous, are you not afraid of bursting your stomach? Don't worry, my appetite is good, dying of overeating is better than dying of starvation. HMPH. He Lulan was gritting her teeth in rage, she suppressed her anger as she said with a calmer tone, actually, what's wrong with changing what you eat? That way, we can all have meat to eat. Fate is unpredictable, who would not have downturns in life? Fang Yuan understood her words. He Lulan wanted to use Strength Chi Immortal Gu to replace self-strength as the compensation to Fang Yuan. But Fang Yuan would not agree. He swallowed the food in his mouth as he sighed deeply, exclaiming, precisely because fate is unpredictable, I try all sorts of ways to become stronger, so that I can deal with any desperate situation in the future. He Lulan, you understand me, once I make up my mind, I won't change it. He Lulan's eyes squinted, Fang Yuan was such a person, she was of a similar kind. Just as she was about to speak, her pupils shrunk. Only seeing that on Fang Yuan's body, a bright light had appeared in a flash. This light was horizontal across his chest, it was a faint shadow at first, but it soon became brighter and more solid, carving itself onto Fang Yuan's body. A strength path Dao mark. He Lulan's expression changed. Just earlier, she witnessed with her own eyes that Fang Yuan gained a strength path Dao mark. She quickly calmed down, thinking of the answer, her eyes twitched as she said dryly, so the Eat Strength Immortal Gu that appeared in Northern Plains auction is in your hands. How do all the good things end up in your hands? Eat Strength Immortal Gu had low value to other Gu Immortals, they even would not dare to use it much. But to Strength Path Gu Immortals, it was undeniably a treasure. Especially in He Lulan's case, her cultivation had met with an obstacle, she could not raise it by undergoing tribulation. At this time, Eat Strength Immortal Gu, which carried zero risks, became very important. Fang Yuan did not speak, he bit down at the bones. He had already eaten the meat on the elephant leg, but the bones also contained natural strength path Dao marks. Even though the elephant leg bones were tough, his sharp teeth chewed them up and he swallowed. Soon afterwards, Fang Yuan gained a new strength path Dao mark. He was not afraid of He Lulan going back on her words. Because the agreement for saving her had already reached the time limit. He Lulan came at the last moment to give it one last try. But in this matter, from start to finish, Fang Yuan had no way to lose. Once they went back on the contract, Fairy Li Shan would die. How could He Lulan watch that happen? Come, sit, I'll treat you to some meat. Fang Yuan took out another strength path desolate beast's leg from his immortal aperture. After cooking it, he gave the leg to He Lulan, at the same time, he willed an Eat Strength Immortal Gu flew into He Lulan's hands. He Lulan received it without hesitation, after swallowing the flesh and bone, she activated Eat Strength Immortal Gu to digest them. A moment later, a strength path Dao mark appeared in her body. Even though the gains were barely 0.1% compared to a tribulation, this method had no risks, it could be accumulated continually. After eating half of it, He Lulan sighed deeply and gave self-strength Immortal Gu to Fang Yuan. The two traded on the spot, self-strength Immortal Gu changed owners. Chapter 779 Chains of Benefits. Chapter 779, Chains of Benefits. Fang Yuan put away self-strength Immortal GU, his expression did not change, he turned to He Lu Lan and said, "From now on, Fairy Lu Lan, if you want to borrow Eat Strength Immortal GU for cultivation, you just need to pass me a certain sum of immortal materials as payment." He Lu Lan nodded. This was his response. He Lu Lan was a formidable person. The moment she saw Fang Yuan display his Eat Strength Immortal GU purposely, she knew his intentions. He did not want to sever their relationship, he chose to deepen their cooperation. Fang Yuan forcefully asked for self-strength Immortal GU, it bit open a huge, bloody wound on their alliance, blood was oozing and the bones could be seen. However, in contrast to the precious self-strength Immortal GU in sole possession, Fang Yuan was lending Eat Strength Immortal GU, this was giving He Lu Lan a way out. He Lu Lan ate the leg that she had, letting out a heavy sigh as she looked at Fang Yuan without a trace of anger on her face. "Let's go to a stone nest." He Lu Lan set out, taking the initiative to help Fang Yuan refine the air sac GU. Fang Yuan laughed heartily, it seemed like He Lu Lan was having a hard time. Just now, she underwent tribulation and went into great danger. After being saved by Fang Yuan, her blessed land was sure to have suffered heavy damage. Fairy Li Shan had always been helping He Lu Lan with her cultivation, regardless of costs. But now, she was in trouble too. She had to help old ancestor Shui who refined fortune rivaling heaven GU. All of the demonic path GU immortals of Snowy Mountain were kept extremely busy in collecting immortal materials. This was an important and burdensome task. Fairy Li Shan had no choice but to spend all her efforts on it. Fang Yuan wanted to continue selling Guts GU, didn't He Lu Lan have the same desire? Fang Yuan's earlier action of splitting profits with He Lu Lan and Fairy Li Shan was an extremely wise decision. At this point, it had taken effect. Profits were a form of restraint, even if He Lu Lan was furious internally, because of the big picture in her own circumstances, she had to cooperate with Fang Yuan. On this day, He Lu Lan summoned large amounts of strength qi, allowing the refinement of air sac GU to restart. Before leaving, she gave Fang Yuan another idea for cooperation. Right now, Fang Yuan did not have the funds to increase his production, but He Lu Lan was willing to invest in this, building a third stone nest and obtaining ample hairy men. Her condition was that Fang Yuan must give her a higher profit ratio. Fang Yuan agreed immediately. The transaction of Guts GU had restarted, it was like a fresh current of water flowing into a drying river. The management of the blessed land was almost stale, now it was operating again. Like a horse carriage, the huge wheels were rolling and moving it forward. Several days later, the third stone nest was built in Fang Yuan's immortal blessed land. Right now, Fang Yuan had several GU worms to mass refine. Air sac GU, malicious thought GU, memory thought GU, and inch of time. 3 stone nests were insufficient to meet his needs. This invited a key question: how could he most effectively make use of his limited resources? Eventually, Fang Yuan ordered the first and third stone nest to refine air sac GU. The second stone nest would refine malicious thought GU. He had a large number of deductions to do, thus, he had to refine either memory thought GU or malicious thought GU. Malicious thought GU was good for plotting against others, while memory thought GU was useful for extracting information from his memories. But in terms of deduction, the two had no clear difference. As for why he was mainly refining air sac GU, that was because Fang Yuan realized that he could sell a lot of Guts GU without any issues. Times had changed. The market for Guts GU had been steadily growing. Especially when Fang Yuan had stopped the trade of Guts GU not long ago, he had used it solely for healing himself. This act had cut off the supply to the market, causing a shortage to occur, thus the price of Guts GU had been skyrocketing. This phenomenon made Fang Yuan realize that the market for Guts GU had truly expanded, he could totally raise the prices. He thought about this, thus he did it. The Guts GU trade earlier was done monthly, his profit was 48 immortal essence stones. After raising the price, and excluding the profits given to He Lu Lan and Fairy Li Shan, Fang Yuan earned a total of 92 immortal essence stones. This was almost double his previous earnings. A monopoly is truly useful for earning profits. Fang Yuan's circumstances became much easier because of this, he sighed to himself, also being deeply alerted. Because the greater the profits of the Guts GU trade, the greater the prospects, the more Immortal Crane sect and the other forces would inevitably become restless. Maybe because Fang Yuan displayed a huge amount of strength earlier, and because Immortal Crane sect was restricted in other aspects, they could not find the time or effort to deal with Fang Yuan. Right now, the profits of Guts GU transactions were going up. One day, Immortal Crane sect would make up their mind and put in more strength to try and regain Immortal blessed land. A man's wealth is his own ruin by stirring another's greed. Be it the righteous path or demonic path, they pursued profit. The difference was, the righteous path had nicer looking methods on the surface. As for the cultivation of GU masters, or rather, the core of it, it was about a person's survival. It was always to defend one's own interests while devouring others' interests. Fang Yuan knew this clearly. He did not deny that there was no difference between him, any other person, or any force. In the face of profits, they were all wolves. To deter Immortal Crane sect, there is only one method. That is to increase my strength unceasingly, to cause their actions to fail, to make them feel threat. With such urgency and drive, Fang Yuan successfully integrated Self-Strength Immortal GU into the Immortal Killer move, Myriad Self, a few days later. Although Self-Strength Immortal GU was very compatible with Myriad Self, Fang Yuan still spent several days to adjust the complementary Mortal GU. After testing it, he received an almost perfect result. I cannot use Cleanse Soul, but I added in Self-Strength. With this, my battle strength is back to first rate within rank 6. In fact, the killer move Myriad Self is even stronger than before. Maybe it is time to explore the Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable inheritance. Fang Yuan was thinking carefully. He had assimilated much of the gains from the auction. Myriad Self returned to having an Immortal Killer move strength. True Solid Bat Wings paired with Iron Crown Eagle Strength Immortal GU was on par with a Movement Immortal Killer move. To deduce vaguely familiar face in the others, he needed a huge amount of Malicious Thought GU. In Hu Immortal Blessed Land, there was only one stone nest. Fully refining it, it would still take a long time before the quantity was accumulated to a sufficient degree. As for how to solve the Immortal Zombie problem, even though Tai Bai Yunsheng was making some progress in Eastern Sea, Shark Demon's method was too costly and took too long. In terms of Northern Plains Zombie Alliance, because Feng Juzhe forcefully asked them for information, his Shahuang identity could not be used anymore. That plan was halted. Speaking of it, I have already obtained this Thieving Heaven inheritance for quite some time. If I can get Luopo Valley, together with Danghun Mountain, my soul foundation would rapidly grow. That is a good method to raise my battle strength as well. In the future, I can even undergo the transaction of Bewilderment Fog and Luopo Wind, increasing my revenue. At the same time, in Luopo Valley, a negotiation had reached its most crucial moment. Qin Baisheng had a light smile as he looked at Wei Fengzi. Wei Fengzi was dressed in a green robe. He lowered his head and thought about it, suddenly laughing as he looked up. Qin Baisheng, to think that I treated you as my best friend, you actually lured me into this trap to harm me. With your strength, you cannot take down Lang Ya Blessed Land, you want me to be cannon fodder. Qin Baisheng's gaze shined. He said lightly, with your wind escape move, you can retreat as you wish. You are famous in Northern Plains, how could you end up as cannon fodder? Even if wind escape is an Immortal Killer move, the best in movement within Northern Plains, it cannot penetrate Blessed Lands or Grotto Heavens. Qin Baisheng, I cannot accept your invitation. Wei Fengzi rejected as he shook his head. He was a rank 7 Wind Path GU Immortal, he was a famous and established character. Even if he had a superb skill, he was still very vigilant. Perhaps that was the reason he could live up to this point and have such an achievement. Qin Baisheng nodded. Wei Fengzi's reply was not unexpected. In that case, I will be forced to make you come. You want to stop me? Wei Fengzi's expression tensed. His eyes shined with a sharp light. Very well, let us spar, it will dispel some unrealistic thoughts in your mind. I, Wei Fengzi, am not someone who can be ordered around easily. As he said that, he struck. Boom. Wei Fengzi opened his mouth. He flicked with his tongue as a huge wind blade shot towards Qin Baisheng. Immortal Killer move, Death Wind Flying Blade. Good timing. Qin Baisheng did not move, he only laughed. The wind blade hit Qin Baisheng, who did not move at all. At once, golden light burst out. As the golden light faded, Qin Baisheng remained unharmed. What defensive killer move is this? Wei Fengzi was shocked. He asked in astonishment, my Deathwind Flying Blade did not even cut a single strand of your hair. Qin Baisheng smiled without speaking. How can I fight him like this? Wei Fengzi's eyes twitched, his battle intent fell, he wanted to retreat. Immortal Killer move, Wind Escape. He used his signature method, famous within Northern Plains. At once, Wei Fengzi turned into a gust of wind as he flew towards the sky of Luopo Valley. This movement killer move had helped Wei Fengzi escape danger countless times, it made his enemies sigh in helplessness. The most memorable occasion was when Wei Fengzi used this move to escape from the rank 8 GU Immortal, Yao Huang, who was pursuing him. But Qin Baisheng did not move as he looked at Wei Fengzi escape, he was expressionless. Rumble. On top of Luokou Valley, thunder was booming as clouds rumbled. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The intense wind blew, countless ghostly figures, at a quantity of millions, flew around below the clouds. Wei Fengzi spit out a mouthful of blood. It was like he rammed into an iron wall. He was forced out of his wind state. What GU formation is this? He was uncertain. His wind escape could not break out of this area. Qin Baisheng smiled without answering Wei Fengzi's question. He asked, "Does Sir want to consider joining us in attacking Langya blessed land?" This time, Wei Fengzi only thought about it for a few breaths before landing. "Qin Baisheng, you were superior after all. Never mind, I will join you in this." Qin Baisheng laughed. He was not surprised. Wei Fengzi was famous for knowing his place. He was a wise man who submitted to circumstances. Since he could not escape, Wei Fengzi's greatest advantage was gone. Furthermore, Qin Baisheng's alliance conditions were not too harsh. Even though he was slightly unhappy, he still joined in helplessly. Chapter 780 Fate Immortal GU. Chapter 780, Fate Immortal GU. Central Continent, Heavenly Court. The silver-white sky shined with a bright and pure luster. Countless exquisite halls made of white jade could be seen everywhere, empty and tranquil. Amongst the halls, there was an old white tower covered in blemishes, standing tall and conspicuous like a crane in a flock of chickens. The tower's name was Heaven Overseeing. It originated from star constellation Immortal Venerable. As the name suggested, one could observe the whole world from this tower. However, winds never stopped blowing. The events of the world were turbulent and changeable. Even though star constellation Immortal Venerable's talent and wisdom could rival that of the heavens, she still could not escape the fate of dying from the end of her lifespan. Later, Heavenly Court experienced the attacks of 3 demon venerables, and when Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Spectral Soul Demon Venerable ruled the world, they also had the intention of taking possession of Heavenly Court, but for some reason, they dispelled that thought. Over 3 million years, countless marks of history had deeply been imprinted onto Heaven Overseeing Tower. Splendid brilliance or deep gloominess, the vicissitudes of all kinds of experiences had merged into Heaven Overseeing Tower, turning it into an imposing structure, resembling an ancient tree that has lived since ancient times. Or like a bronze cauldron that had stood witness to the changes of the world, and still stood tall without collapsing. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord walked up the stairs holding a walking cane. His back was bent. He was a rank 8 GU Immortal, but his majestic aura revealed an intense aura of old age. His hair had turned white, wrinkles covered his body like an old tree's bark. His eyes were blurry and his gaze cloudy. He slowly lifted his foot, or rather, dragged. He was like an old insect, tottering up the endless stairs with difficult steps. He walked forward step by step. Every step he walked, the white jade stairs under his feet would shine with a slight light and let out a beautiful sound, like that of a xylophone. The next change was to the walls beside the old man. Images changed constantly on the walls. Sometimes there was a lump of vague, foggy figures, sometimes there were innumerable colorful lines, and rarely there would appear clear pictures. The old man paid close attention to the pictures on the walls. Whenever he went up a step, a bead of the immortal essence inside him would be consumed, and changes would occur to the pictures on the walls. The old man's movement paused. A picture on a wall vividly portrayed a valley. Luokou Valley. The old man softly muttered. A flash of brilliance appeared and disappeared in his blurry eyes. 2 GU Immortals were fighting at the center of the picture. A Wind Path GU Immortal and a Metal Path GU Immortal. At the periphery of the picture, several GU Immortals were standing, looking at the battle in the center. The picture continued to change. The battle of the 2 GU Immortals was not intense. They stopped after exchanging 1 or 2 moves. Finally, the picture froze at this scene. The Wind Path GU Immortal slowly lowered his head at the Metal Path GU Immortal. The old man inwardly engraved this scene in his mind. In the innumerable steps that led to the top of the tower, those that could show such clear pictures would only number a dozen or so. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord continued to move up the tower. He saw a deep sea, in which a group of GU Immortals, consisting mostly of immortal zombies, were attacking a blessed land. A female immortal was kneeling on sandy ground, pleading for assistance from an elderly male GU Immortal. A young GU Master was unconscious in a bed. A spirit incubating flea was lying on his forehead, slightly shaking. He saw a GU Immortal with white clothing and blue pupils, quietly moving through a forest in southern border. He also saw an eerie dark swamp. Huge rays of blood-colored light were enshrouding it, within which a blood path GU Immortal was cultivating. The more the old man saw, the more chilly his face became, and the more fury accumulated in his blurry eyes. These people, they have all escaped the judgment of fate. Finally, he walked to the top of the stairs and stepped onto the peak of the tower, where an immortal GU appeared in front of him. Rank 9 Immortal GU, Fate. It looked like a spider, colored in black and white. Its aura was weak, there was a scarlet wound on its body that almost cut it in two. The old man gazed at this GU for a long while before he heaved a sigh. Heaven Overseeing Tower was a rank 9 Immortal GU house. Unfortunately, its most important core, Fate, had suffered a fatal injury and was close to destruction. Red Lotus Demon Venerable. The old man gritted his teeth, his gaze revealing deep enmity. The person who inflicted such an injury onto Immortal GU Fate was none other than a famed character in history, Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Red Lotus Demon Venerable broke fate, destroying the chains of fate and allowing all living beings in the world to grasp their own destiny. But Immortal GU Fate was not completely destroyed. However, despite the care and protection from all immortals in Heavenly Court, the injuries Fate had suffered had yet to recover even after 1,000,000 years. This situation was caused by the attack of Red Lotus Demon Venerable. The injuries on Fate Immortal GU were not only represented in its physical wounds, it was also reflected on all the living beings who had escaped the judgment of fate. The existence of these people in themselves signified the breaking of fate. Thus, healing the Immortal GU Fate had to be done in two aspects. One was to deal with the wound on the GU. The other was to clear the obstacles for Immortal GU Fate by eliminating all those who had escaped the judgment of fate. No matter which aspect, both were troublesome issues. Especially the second aspect, the 5 regions were extremely vast, every moment there would be someone who escaped their fate. It was extremely difficult for Heavenly Court to eliminate these existences. Even if Heavenly Court was the most powerful GU Immortal organization, it only controlled Central Continent. The remaining 4 regions were linked to Central Continent through regional walls. The higher the cultivation of the expert, the more difficult it would be for them to pass the regional wall. The regional walls of each of the regions were like protective layers that isolated the 5 regions from each other and made them independent territories. In the beginning, when Fate Immortal GU had just been injured, Heavenly Court was still seeing some efficiency in eliminating escapees of fate. But merely some years later, there were countless escapees like waves formed in a sea, appearing repeatedly, to the extent that they could not be fully attended to. More than 10 years later, this situation spread like a wildfire throughout the 5 regions. Dozens of years later, immortal zombies appeared, humans that were supposed to be dead but were still living. This was the classic example of escaping fate's judgment. Back then, this situation had shocked, angered and shaken the whole of Heavenly Court. As such a practice grew more popular to this day, a branch of immortal zombies appeared even in Central Continent. Survival was a basic human instinct, even Heavenly Court could not resist such a trend. The goal of restoring Fate GU seemed to be getting more distant day by day, and there seemed to be no hope. However, Heavenly Court had never given up. Because every generation of Heavenly Court GU immortals firmly remembered the dignity of Heavenly Court during the Olden Antiquity era, and its glory during the Remote Antiquity era. And the greatest cornerstone in building this was Fate GU. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's arrangements used Fate GU as the core. Therefore, allowing resistance against 3 demon venerables and ensuring Heavenly Court did not fall. Completely healing Fate GU was akin to grasping the paths in life for all living beings. This also meant that Heavenly Court would once again be paramount, becoming the supreme immortals among immortals, rulers among countless rulers. All their efforts had provided some results. Under generations after generations of efforts from GU immortals of Heavenly Court, and enormous prices paid over the course of history, Fate GU was recovering bit by bit until the current state, where although it was dying, it could be barely used. It was because of this that pictures appeared on Heaven Overseeing Tower's walls. Fate escapees and Fate GU were irreconcilably opposed. However, those that had escaped the judgment of fate were truly too many in numbers. The ones that appeared in Heaven Overseeing Tower were only the strongest ones, while also not being inside blessed lands or grotto heavens, in addition to not using wisdom path methods to conceal themselves, therefore they were easy to deduce. Soon, using the latest refinement path convention to heal Fate GU's injury will result in a qualitative breakthrough. All the investments we made will be worth it. Countless years of accumulation will be brought about to fruition from this. After the refinement path convention, Fate GU should be able to display 50% of its might. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord mumbled while caressing Fate GU. His expression gradually eased up, the anger in his heart temporarily pacified. But before this, we still need to eliminate these main sinners who had escaped the judgment of fate. All lives have their trajectory and destiny predetermined since they are born. This is the law of heaven and earth, the rule of nature, how can we allow you to leisurely escape? This is life that does not belong to any of you. While thinking of this, the old man recalled the clear pictures which he had engraved in his mind when he moved up the stairs. Before fate recovers, I will act in the capacity of heaven and eliminate the tallest of these weeds. Central continent, who immortal blessed land. The light of wisdom filled the underground cave. Fang Yuan was inside the light with his eyes tightly closed. Behind him was the biggest Lingzi in the cave. It was the king of the Ji forest and had already grown to the size of a fat, mature small tree with lush mushroom heads. Bright colored lights shined on Fang Yuan's face. His breathing was deep and slow, malicious thoughts rose up and down in his mind like waves, constantly crashing against each other. After a while, Fang Yuan opened his eyes. I took such a long time in accumulating malicious thought GU, but they were used up like this. He frowned, unsatisfied with this result. He had first attempted to deduce how to add pulling mountain and pulling water into the killer move Myriad itself. The result was that he used up half of the stock of malicious thought GU, but only made less than 10% progress. This progress was too slow. Fang Yuan then tried to deduce Immortal killer move vaguely familiar face. He used up all malicious thought GU, but the progress was only a little over 10%. In the end, it was because my transformation path attainment is too low. Fang Yuan sighed. At this moment, he suddenly felt something. A moving perspective cup GU came out of his immortal aperture. The GU brought a letter. Fang Yuan opened it. There were only 4 words on it. The time has arrived. Fang Yuan's gaze flashed as he stood up. The sender was Fairy Li Shan. Fang Yuan had originally intended to follow Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's inheritance clues to find Luokou Valley. But not long ago, Fairy Li Shan had suddenly sent news which caused Fang Yuan to dispel the plan of Luokou Valley. This news was regarding Dongfang Chongfan's wisdom path inheritance. After Dongfang Chongfan died, Dongfang Yuliang was his legacy successor. But the latter was only a mortal GU master, thus to stop the intention of other GU immortals, Dongfang Chongfan did not directly hand over the wisdom path inheritance to Dongfang Yuliang, instead arranged it at a hidden place. Fairy Li Shan had vast connections and specialized in getting intel. This time, the intel was that Dongfang Yuliang had secretly headed off to an unknown location, attempting to inherit the wisdom path inheritance.